Ribbon cutting day over at Highmark Stadium, and for more on this historic day, Sal Capaccio has videos and pictures of the Bills' new stadium up at his Twitter at Sal Sports, and do stay tuned. We'll get more on today as Sal's going to join the show at 4. Staying in the NFL, no supplemental draft this year as the current NFL CBA does allow the league to decide to hold one or not. Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby will not be eligible now to enter the NFL in 2026. He is, however, eligible to enter his name for the 2027 NFL Draft. Pete Thamel of ESPN reports Sorsby's attorney, Jeffrey Kessler, said the NFL's decision is a violation of the CBA and the law, and that they will be pursuing this with the NFL's Players Association. The NHL Board of Governors is meeting today in New York, and expansion is potentially coming to the NHL. Commissioner Gary Bettman informed the board they are going to be opening up the process to investigate either Houston or Austin for an expansion franchise. Over to the World Cup, more history. Cristiano Ronaldo, he scores twice today, meaning he is the first ever player to score in 6 World Cups, and he is now Portugal's all-time leading goal scorer at the World Cup with 10 career goals. Portugal just wrapped up their game with Uzbekistan. They won 5-0. In about an hour, England takes on Ghana. 7 p.m., we've got Panama versus Croatia, and at 10, Colombia versus DR Congo. Then in baseball, Bisons, they're in Iowa versus the Cubs at 7:38. That game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. While in the majors, Blue Jays host Houston just after 4. The Yankees are at the Tigers at 6:40. And then at 7:10, the Mets, they have the Cubs in town. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Mike Schopp.
Hey, put a little. I never get this line out the first time. It's not even good. Hey, put a little bit more in there, cowboy.
And the Bulldog.
What's your degree in?
Kicking ass and taking names.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
What's the funniest thing you've seen today?
The funniest thing I've seen today? Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I bet Uzbekistan on the money line for plus 1,600.
That's a start right there.
That's
looking at that now.
5-0. They've lost. So there goes my parlay. So that that was pretty funny. Mike Babcock's comments this afternoon aren't funny, but they're definitely getting attention. My wife told me to quit Columbus. I wasn't going to quit. I didn't really do anything wrong. I'm, just okay. Way to be humble and try to just, get everyone past the questions about your being granted re-entry into the league. Not funny though, more kind of sad, I think.
Pathetic.
But yeah, okay, better, way better, yes. We're a good team. What about you? What's the funniest thing you've seen today?
There was a sign at the stadium, like specially made for today, ribbon cutting.
I saw that, yeah.
And then there was a picture on the big scoreboard inside, ribbon cutting, in cursive,
okay,
taking up the entire length or width of the scoreboard. Ribbon cutting.
I cannot any longer
Where's the hyphen?
Say with a clear conscience that I haven't been invited. That was mostly pertaining to like tours that the people from work were invited to that I don't feel like we were ever included in those emails.
Right.
But this, I did get an invitation to go to this thing.
You did?
I couldn't go. I had work being done at the house that I couldn't reschedule, and so I was trapped. So I wasn't. So I can no longer say that.
I can.
Oh, okay, you didn't get that email.
Nope.
Wow.
Not that I know of. They might not have wanted somebody there to be like ribbon cutting. I guess it's election day.
That too. Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Yeah.
Ribbon cutting. I just want to keep saying it.
It looks.
Was it frictionless? You had a lot of people with giant scissors lined up.
Yeah.
Did not seem frictionless exactly.
I did,
you can't have frictionless ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
I don't believe you can have that.
No, by the very
Mutually
nature
exclusive.
of the description, you're cutting. Yeah, there's going to be friction. The scissors are going to cause friction with the ribbon.
Next in sports, exactly. Next in sports are the Sabres cutting ties with one of their goalies. Now, there's two possibilities here, and I'm gullible, so you'll know which one I'm going to pick. There are reports that they're interested in Connor Hellebuck and Sergei Bobrovsky. Either they really are interested in one of those guys, or both. Maybe they would never have both, but
right.
They
one or the
are
other.
Trying.
Right.
They are vying for their services, or they're just talking.
Yeah.
They're
just having all the conversations one can have.
They're the Nyborgs. They just like talking to salespeople. So is it okay, am I right, to assume at this point that they are in the goalie market?
I have thought it was always possible that they would be in the goalie market. It is not my favorite idea, but I'm not gonna kick and scream and say definitely don't do it. I feel like they may be, I'm not sure if it works this way or not, but in my head, this makes sense. We want to keep Alex Tuch. We can't. Okay, we got to come up with a plan to replace him. We wanted to keep Bowen Byram. Well, he doesn't want to do that. Okay, so we may have to move him. Okay, what can we make happen here? And if a trade to replace Alex Tuch, for example, doesn't present itself, they just don't win the bidding for Dylan Larkin or Robert Thomas if he's available, or Jordan Kyrou, or any one of many other guys that are not free agents but are trade candidates, and they miss out on those. I think to try to improve your team, you might go, okay, well, you know what we could do? We could do that instead. And maybe they can pull that fish into the boat. And, Bobrovsky is merely convincing him to come here and paying him however many millions for, I would assume, he's looking for 6 years at the age he is, which is pretty scary. Hellebuck's younger, but I'm trading multiple assets probably to make that happen. I don't know how good the assets have to be, but it's going to be a haul probably to pry him free. So
Bobrovsky is coming up on 38.
Yeah. So, and what I'm reading is that part of the reason he's not going back to Florida is that maybe they wanted to sort of, okay, well, you're 38. How about a 2-year, $20 million contract or something along that? And he wants more security than that.
It's hard for me to think that the Sabres would look at this through the prism of Tuch, unless it was really about the point you make about Tuch a lot, which is the optics of his leaving and the Sabres being seen as still being the Sabres, if you will. That some way or another, they want to get to a $10 million guy, even if it's a goaltender. I think it's probably more that they think goaltending is what got him beat. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. Not that all the numbers reflect that, but if you think about some of those playoff games, Game 5 with Luukkonen, Lyon plays the end, gives one up maybe. It's not about that, but it was Luukkonen's loss. And then Game 6, Lyon goes out. Kind of maybe the most amazing thing about their run is that their last playoff win, when they were up against elimination, they ripped off 7 straight goals in Montreal to blow them out. Right. But that happened after Lyon gave up 3 on 4.
Right.
And then Game 7 ends the way it ends. And, what of it?
I don't know. The problem I have with that is that, to me, Connor Hellebuck or Sergei Bobrovsky or Dominic we watched Hasek give up that exact goal twice in his career for the Sabres. Kasparaitis and Alfredsson. I don't know if those were knuckle pucks or not, but to me...
Miller is Alfredsson.
Miller, sorry, you're right.
You're thinking of Washington, maybe.
Yes, right. Thank you.
Bondra.
So I don't know. Like a sort of a fluky... A knuckleball gets by my goalie, and my reaction is I got to go spend $8.5 million on a 34-year-old man. Like, I would be surprised if the Sabres think that it got them beat, but that shouldn't, and I don't think would, prohibit them from trying to get better at the position. I think saying it got them beat is a overreaction to that shot, maybe more than anything else. I know it wasn't what it was in the regular season. And so there is an argument to be made that it is what beat them. I just don't know if anybody's making that save.
Fair enough. But really, there's no – I'll just say it, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. There's no other element of the team that really came out as a weakness that you would point to first. I mean, it wasn't that they poured in goals in every game, but they scored. I mean, the power play even at times showed life.
Came around, but I don't know. I feel like we're having the Josh Allen, Sean McDermott's defense conversation because weren't there a half a dozen or more times you thought they were going to score to win that game? The chances they had, Thompson in overtime with the 2-on-1, and like that failed me. I'm not replacing Tage Thompson. I'm not approaching him as a weakness. But he didn't score there. Tuck didn't produce a single point the whole series.
Well, how about this?
So,
would it surprise you if you learned that the Sabres all sat down at the end of it and have had these conversations since then and have said basically, look, we are not replacing Tage Thompson. We're going to lose Alex Tuck, but we can maybe find somebody in the course of a trade or in free agency that will kind of look the part. And we've got a stable of young guys that are really promising. And defensively, we're close to great.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I want or think I need to do? And then again, you go to goalies, and I think Tuck is at best the second most interesting conversation about them this offseason, because it's always been more interesting to me how they are going to basically call it in net. Did it work what they were? It certainly paid off big time until the playoffs, if not through the playoffs. I also don't think this is a great idea. Like, I'm not lobbying for Hellebuck. Mm-hmm. I would be super excited about it if they did it, and could not be able to sort of control myself waiting for the season if you told me he's on the team. But it wouldn't be my move.
Yeah, I would rather. That's what I hope they're thinking is that's a space on the board, if you will. That's an alternative. It's an opportunity to try to improve your team. Like, realistically, like internally, you can believe that a goalie like Connor Hellebuck would make you better. I don't know how much. Like, in theory, that should make you better. And so that's on the board. But to me, sinking assets into Connor Hellebuck and hoping that the age cliff doesn't come for him. Like, he's still been pretty much what he's been. Even last year with the terrible year that they had in Winnipeg, his the
goals above expected.
Yeah, all the stuff was still very, very strong. So it's not as though his performance has really, fallen off. The whole team kind of fell apart around him, which is part of the reason that he may be available now. So you could sell me on, we're going to try this to get better, but I would prefer that they attack replacing Tuck legitimately with like a 27, 25 to 27-year-old version of Alex Tuck, or two people that can do the jobs combined. Maybe somebody scores, maybe somebody penalty kills, I don't know, but then I'm getting pretty crowded. I don't have exactly a ton of room here, cap-wise or really on my lines, if I want to make room for some of the kids to play. But all the same, if Byram is a part of that, then I have to replace Byram. And I think if I make a move for a forward and a defenseman, and it includes Byram going out and like two guys coming in, then I think I'm out of the goalie sweepstakes. I don't think I have the money probably to do that. But if I can't do something that I think, or that they think, if they can't do something they think helps them improve and replaces Tuck and or Byram, then I think that's where you get to column 3, which is, well, the goalie market's out there. We could do that and say, at a news conference, we think this will help us. And I think a lot of people I think that's a news conference you can probably win pretty easily.
Oh my gosh.
It's it's U.S. Olympic champion goalie Connor Hellebuck.
He's the best goalie of the decade?
I think that's right.
At least?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, how tough is it really? you're talking about what you think is best. That's great, and we want to have that conversation too. With due respect, as anybody that thinks maybe this isn't the best idea, how hard is it to imagine them thinking it's a great idea? How hard is it really to think that Lindy Ruff or Jarmo Kekalainen are not just like, we ran out of good fortune in net. We got this far. Who are these guys really? Luukkonen, Lyon. What did we really expect? Due respect to them. It's not hard for me to imagine. And the fact that they're in these rumors, I think says it all. Unless, again, you want to just sort of chalk it up to, well, it's due diligence. I don't know. Why bother?
Well, I think I just explained that, maybe even twice. I think if they can't, my guess is they would prefer to improve the team in the areas I'm talking about. Prioritize that. But if you can't, I don't think you're in a position where you can just go, well, nobody wanted to come here, and we couldn't do anything, so we're going to run it back. And Helen Hughes, who we're all excited about, and Osland and Yuri Kulik, and that's my team with everybody else who's still here. Maybe we re-signed Beck Balenstein. But look what we did. We did this thing. This guy, he shows up with his gold medal. I think I can see them getting to that without it being their first choice. Because I think you got to do something. I think it would be the most Sabres-y thing that could ever happen would be to say, well, we had a gun to our head with Bowen Byram. We knew he wasn't going to re-sign, so we traded him for futures, sort of like Ottawa just did. Tuck left, but look at the kids. And no goalie change, and basically nothing. That's what I think Sabres fans have nightmares about, is that this team got good, and there's still situations where guys, for respectable reasons, Tuck has an opportunity to hit the open market for the first time in his life. Byram wants to try to ascend, the hierarchy of NHL defensemen. He can't do that here. So I'm going to do the best I can with this situation, but I'm a 109-point team defending Atlantic Division champion. You got to do something that signifies we're covering the holes that have been created and improving. And Hellebuyck, or Bobrovsky, a goalie, really those are the two names. I was dreaming about Shesterkin a month ago, but no one has ever. There's been nothing on him.
His contract is
Rangers.
too big and
His
long.
contract is massive, yes. 10.5 until after 33 or something.
I guess, I want to say, of course, I understand the point about the Sabres and their history and reputation working against them in this way. It would be a Sabres-y result, as you put it. Most Sabres thing ever would be to get here and then just let guys leave and not address it. It is a different situation than most of these other years because of the young forwards, and even your young defensemen are not young, but they're in their primes kind of. You've got a really good setup, and I'm not sure I would want to hold it against them. And I would assume, not that you're necessarily talking about an all-star, but if they lost Tuck, which I expect them to, and they trade Byram, I want to give them enough benefit of the doubt here that they would bring in at least the defenseman piece. They're not as deep as you'd want.
Mm-hmm.
The young guys are the forwards. So.
Yeah, I don't think they have a ready-made replacement for Byram in the system right now yet. They don't.
Fair.
Marco might be a year or two away from even contending for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd want to assume there'd be something like that. But I don't want to go to 2007 necessarily if those guys leave, and I don't. Do I need Connor Hellebuyck, of all people, or even Bobrovsky, to come in and sort of smooth that over? I don't think it would be that. It doesn't line up that way for me. It's more for me, the guess here is that they think that's their weakness. And I think a lot of people would say the same, given how the playoffs went.
I don't know that you could be right about that that's how they view it. I'm trying to have faith in them because I happen to think that that's not the right way to view it, that should be the priority, but whatever. I don't know what they're thinking. But I would be surprised if what I've sort of said a couple times isn't like that they feel like they need to do something that gets attention. Like, look, the Sabres are a contender now, and look what they just did. I feel like Jarmo was big game hunting at the trade deadline. I'd be just very surprised if he's not trying to find that thing. And I feel like the goalie stuff could just be a last resort. That's what I want it to be. And I could be right about that too, just like you could be right about they're prioritizing it. We're never going to know because whatever they do, right, they don't make a goalie move. They're going to love the trade they made for whoever it is, whatever Dylan Larkin, whatever forward they pull into the boat. There's going to be a new, and we're going to be excited about that too.
And they have full confidence in Luukkonen.
Right. The goaltending was good enough last year to get it performed above expectation all year. We're going to, roll that back. Okay. If they can't do the other stuff, and then, we realize the goalies did a good job last year and played above their heads, but in the playoffs, yada, yada, yada. You can, almost anything will work if it's the right caliber of player. And Hellebuck is, and certain of these star forwards that are in the rumor mill also qualify.
Not that I don't think I would know this, but I'd have a guess like anybody else. If they were to trade, say, Luukkonen, Byram, a number 1 pick, and if you need somebody more obscure for Hellebuck, what happens to their cup odds? They're 28-1, like 14th in the league, not really well respected, weird almost, well behind the Senators.
Right.
What happens to their cup odds?
Yeah, Ottawa was like almost 50% better on Friday when I talked to Sam.
16-1. To 30. Now they're 22-1.
Yeah, okay.
And the Sabres were at 28. I mean, that's just one site.
Yep.
What happens to that if you trade, basically you're trading Byram and Luukkonen, which is, you don't even need Luukkonen. So you're trading Byram for Hellebuck. Mm-hmm. What happens to that number? I think it shrinks.
Yeah, maybe by half even.
Maybe by half, right. I think they go from, at least at one site, the 5th favorite in the Atlantic to 2nd or 3rd. Florida did a thing too.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost taking this year's Sabres team into next year with that goalie. I am almost.
Oh, that's tough. That is very tough to say with Tuck and Byram not a part of it.
Well, that's right.
Considering how they looked against Boston, especially in that first-round series.
But Tuck is going, probably,
right.
And we have known that. We don't know for sure, but that's – if anybody's putting those odds up and they get really into it, which you probably should if you're doing that professionally, you would probably be baking that in. Not Byram at the time.
Right.
But Tuck, I think, yes. And so – if I'm right about that, you agree, like the odds would change dramatically.
I think so. Yeah.
If we're right about that, why shouldn't they do it?
Does that make it worth doing? Yeah.
I mean, just what are we here for?
The thing that I have been thinking most about when I think about the Hellebuck idea is whether or not I can pull that off without trading Byram, and whether or not, considering I'm losing Tuck and my big move is going to be a goalie, and I can count on the kids to an extent, if I hang on, basically do with Byram what I did with Tuck last year, which was, we never got there on an extension. In this case, I think we already know Byram doesn't want to sign one. Seemed like Tuck wanted to, but they never got together on a number, and so here we are. He's days away from leaving for nothing. I would listen to, considering how impactful those 4 top D were all year long, hanging on to Byram as my own rental, just like I did with Tuck. I still have young guys here, and I can address his leaving next year if I need to, and just not worry about it, because I don't get the impression that Byram is like, get me out of here. It's mostly he wants the opportunity to be able to pick his spot and get paid like a number 1. Which might even be harder to do if he's traded. But if he has UFA at the end of next year, I would trust his motivation would be very high to go out and play like that guy so that he can cash in for $13 million next summer. So I don't know if it's realistic at all to consider pulling Hellebuck into the boat without divesting myself of Byram, but making a move for the goalie makes me want to hang on to Byram and just keep that decor intact.
If there's a way to do it.
Yeah, if there is a way.
What do you think is going on here? What should happen? What do you want? 803-0550. For us, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, Sal Capaccio at 4, ribbon cutting. That's it. That's the tease.
I didn't feel like I needed
the tease.
Add anything in there.
Ribbon cutting.
I thought you had it.
Do you have to have the ribbon? Can't you just show people around and like it's kind of it's not really fans couldn't go. I mean, they've done this kind of media thing a number of times. Today there was a ribbon. It's the closest to being completed. You always have to have a ribbon, I guess, for these things.
I
a ribbon.
I like the ribbon.
Ribbon cutting. Sal at 4. We'll get back to the Sabre stuff after a break. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garfel, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
Give Belknap a ring.
They need a number 2 center. They need a number 4 center. They need bigger and more aggressive defense. If you're willing to consider Hellebuck, and they are, let's just be fair in this. Winnipeg is willing to consider moving Connor Hellebuck. If they are, then you've got to tick off at least a couple of the boxes that I just described. Preferably a number 2 center, and maybe you get a defenseman on top of that, and you worry about the 4C down the path.
And a goalie or no? Would Winnipeg not need a goalie if they traded him? Would that be a position of need at that point?
I would think you'd need a goalie. Yeah.
I would think so.
I would think that would be a part of that too. Yeah.
Darren
Can I
Dreger.
interest you in a gently used but often damaged Josh Norris?
Right.
I'm like wincing already. I mean, I'm not looking to. Well, I am eager to move him, but then I need to replace him. And I don't know. Does Yuri Kulik replace? I'm back to like it's the Sabres. You know, oh no, we got this 22-year-old. He's going to be awesome, and maybe he will. But man, that's scary. But if you want to get me to really be friends with the Connor Hellebuck trade, you get me out from under that Josh Norris contract. And you've got my attention.
I think it's fairly plausible from either direction. I mean, he's sellable, Norris, as a player that you should want in a trade like that. I mean, I think he is. It's a question of durability, but I think, speaking of like what's Sabres-y and what's not, getting him in a trade like that would be something you might think is Sabres-y. Not in terms of trading Cousins for him in the first place, but doing it this way now, if he were coming in from another team, you might be like, you might roll your eyes a little bit, but I don't know. At the same time, I'm sure he's got his fans. And so you got to give something up if you're going to do that. Wink, wink, you might like to give this player up, and it's possible that the team you're dealing with would be into it.
Yeah. I wonder really how that goes. Like you're Jarmo Kekalainen, you're on the phone with, is it still Shovel Dayoff, the GM of the Winnipeg Jets? You're on the phone with your counterpart, if that's him or not, in Winnipeg, and you lead with like Josh Norris. Is there? I feel like there's probably intentionally awkward silence. Then Jarmo goes, "Are you still there?" And the guy goes, "Yeah." Got anything else? Like I don't know, man. That feels like too much of a dump to me to get away with it. But I don't know. Maybe they just you don't have to then mix in, like if they do that, it's almost like, God, this is so lacking for any kind of positive commentary about Norris. It feels like I got to probably give up more other stuff to get them to take Norris as a part of that trade.
A lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money, injury questions. There is a talented player in there. There's no question about that.
Well, these are always fun conversations because knowing that it's not exactly the same, this is when I can use my fantasy stuff and try to, relate to it. You want Hellebuck, and I have him. You're going to have to tell me what you're going to give up, like what you're willing to give up. The onus is on you. If you want my goalie, the onus is on you to come strong. I mean, what do you have for me? And then either I'll love it, but I'll probably try to get something else. There's usually something else you can get, or I'll, we'll talk about it if it's interesting, or it's just like it's such a bad offer that you don't even want to continue talking to the team anymore.
And that's
they're not serious.
That's a little bit of my fear with including Norris in the conversation.
So what you want to do is finesse it. You want to bring up maybe someone else, hoping maybe you already know the other GM's opinion of your guys, which would make it easier. But you bring up someone else, and you're sort of hoping that they don't say yes, and they come, well, we need a little bit. Who would that be? Krebs? Somebody like that? You want them to raise you. That's what you're hoping for. And then you can call. Now it's poker. That's went from real sports to fantasy sports to cards.
Poker, right.
We want to be raised. We want you to check raise us. And then we can call and win. So maybe you don't mention Norris. You wait for them to, but that's risky.
Yeah.
I mean, 32 teams, though. He's not bad.
I know it's just a lot of money, and like think about right now after another 2 years have gone by in his career, which is basically what he was late last season. It wasn't really 2 seasons, but whatever. I mean, he got here, got hurt immediately, started the season, got hurt immediately, came back, got hurt again.
Got hurt in the playoffs.
He got hurt in the playoffs. Like, I don't know, man. Like, at this point, if Josh Norris is still on Ottawa and the track record has continued to be what it is, you come to me with Josh Norris is my big idea for you down the middle for you to answer your needs, I think I'm hanging up. I'm trying to win the Stanley Cup over here. Like, I'm right back to where Ottawa was when they moved him. I think they loved his potential and the player he was when he was on the ice for them. They just became, I think, tired of not being able to count on him, and so they traded him. And that's kind of where I've already am now. And I just feel like there'll be a lot of buyer beware on him. So that's where you get to, okay, well, what else are you willing to give up kid-wise? Like, you want me to take that contract and that risk, recognizing there's a chance that could really pay off, maybe for the first time in his career or the first time in a long time he plays 75 or 80 games or whatever.
84.
He's 84. He's healthy, and they win that bet. There's always that risk. But right now, I feel like including him then gets you to, okay, but I'm going to need Osland too, or I'm going to need something else that's going to make it hurt for you, because Norris really isn't going to hurt. I'm almost doing you a favor if I'm taking him off your hands.
Well, Byram is in this trade. I know you'd like to not have
to
trade him in
Probably.
the same move,
yeah.
But he's in the trade. There's where you start. And then Winnipeg would have to want to extend him, pay him the contract he desires.
And, like, I don't know, he doesn't have trade protection, so it's out of his hands. But how eager he is to sign there at the time of the trade, I mean, Josh Morrissey is Rasmus Dahlin. Like, they've already got a number one kingpin defenseman that's being paid like one. And so that might not be the easiest fit. If the trade and Byram being valued as you'd want him to be valued if you're the team trading him away, that has to come with a contract extension. Because if I'm Winnipeg and he's the main piece of the trade, renting him for a year doesn't really get me anywhere in my rebuild.
Right.
So he has to want to go there, and I don't know. I mean, there aren't 3 guys blocking him. There's really only one, and maybe that makes all the difference in the world. I don't know. But again, you need him to be cooperative enough to want to sign where he's going to max out the value on him, and I don't know if Winnipeg fits. So that might be a problem.
It's funny to talk about, to whatever extent Winnipeg is a destination. When Kevin Adams made his fateful palm trees remark, Winnipeg might have had the most points in the NHL.
They did, yes.
And that was the easy, pushback was, what does Winnipeg have for palm trees? But this year they were way down.
Right.
What about Columbus? Werenski? Norris Trophy? Because those names are being mentioned too.
Yeah,
it seems like it's all these guys, these stars on these woebegone teams. What a moment for the Sabres not to be among them. But Winnipeg, Ottawa, Columbus, we'll see how successful these players are. Brady Tkachuk won.
Yep.
He got to Florida.
You're right. Werenski is being talked about. Like, I don't know if it's just dot connecting at this point or if there's really smoke there. But, yeah, anyone in the league is going to be wondering. I'm sure teams are calling them about him because you'd want to know, like, are you ready to do this? Are you going to make him available or are you going to wait a year? So I think he's got 2 years left currently. But if that's what Tkachuk was, and if they already know, if he's told them like Tkachuk did, like, I'm probably not going to do this again.
Well, that's another team that's kind of over a barrel.
Yep.
Because they sound like a team that has to rebuild again. And it seems probably to them and their fans like it's just a never-ending rebuild. So, I don't know, but there's some pretty good players in the rumor mill, including, he won the Norris Trophy this year.
Yes.
Jeff is with us. Hello, Jeff.
How you doing, guys?
Good, Jeff.
I want the Winnipeg goalie and Matthew Nyes if we lose.
Okay, that would be great. Nyes to me is my favorite idea. I've never thought it made a whole lot of sense that Toronto would move him, but if they think they can get maybe 3 pieces, then as excellent as they should view him. I mean, he's young, he's fast, he's big, he scores, he kills penalties. He's under contract for like 4 or 5 more seasons at a pretty reasonable number. That's a guy at his age, 23, that if you're sort of trying to, I don't know, not exactly start over, sort of pivot, you've got Matthews, you're going to get McKenna, presumably. You just made this trade for Radish. It seems like Nyes is a guy you'd want to hold on to, but if you could get Byram and Krebs and a future piece, a college kid or something, somebody, not one of the top guys here, one of the guys that played in the playoffs for the Sabres. I don't know, maybe that would be appealing to Toronto because they've got they need bodies. That is my dream move of all moves, is Nyes. I love him as a player.
Ribbon cutting. Mm-hmm. Let's cut some ribbons. Where do you get those big scissors?
Online.
Yeah. I think that's the only way.
You Google, where do you get the big scissors? And there you go. Amazon.
There's some big scissors.
There you go. Right. Hey, where'd you get that shirt? Internet. I don't remember the name of the company. I liked what was on it. I ordered it.
Of course, there are shirt stores.
Yes.
I don't know about big scissors. Or even those big ribbons.
Right.
How big? I mean, that's probably a special order, too.
Oh, car dealerships have those lying around all the time from holiday time. That's not hard to find.
That's not Party City, though, is it?
You can just get that. You just call Northtown. They've got those ribbons all over the place. Haven't you seen the ads?
That's where you go for the big ribbons then. Right. How could you have the big ribbons and not the big scissors? Maybe they have big scissors also. Or do they ever cut those ribbons? Yeah, they have to. They tie the car up.
I don't know.
And then they cut the ribbon when you buy it.
Does the door opening not just tear the ribbon? Like
there's no grace in that.
Yeah. No,
there's no thrill in that.
That's probably right.
You don't want it, and then it sort of shreds. It doesn't really break all the way, and then you need somebody starts to chew on it to try to get it to break. You don't want any of that. You just want to have one pair of big scissors, just for those moments.
Business idea. Let's combine the big ribbons with the big scissors.
Yeah. Buy them right in a package deal. The Bills should get it with the stadium. It should come with the stadium. It should come with every stadium. Big ribbons and big scissors, because you're going to need them.
Yeah.
Why don't you throw that in? We'll take your second line center, your fourth line center, and the big scissors.
I wonder what that meeting is like. There's got to be a meeting when somebody goes, has anybody got the ribbon and the scissors? Yeah, I'm on it. I just wonder how soon before.
Can't wait too long.
Hey, the thing's coming up Tuesday. Do we have the ribbon and the scissors? It's supposed to be here tomorrow.
You know who would have it in long supply would be the governor. The governor's office would have, because they're everywhere she's going, she's cutting ribbons.
Maybe they just travel with that.
Yeah, I think they have a whole. They might even make them.
Maybe she's even got just a ribbon and scissors person on staff.
Probably. There's probably a department in our state government for this.
Ribbon and scissors. RNS.
Somebody. RNS.
Ribbon and scissors.
Who's in charge of?
What's RNS stand
deputy?
For? Ribbons and scissors.
They should have that because you need them. Stadiums need them. Government people need them. Big celebrations all the time. And he just put the shovel in the ground. Well, that's a different. Then you want the subsidy. There's a side department.
That's a whole other thing. You need gold-handled shovels or gold spaded shovels. I don't even know. That's a whole other thing.
That's right. The stuff you don't think about.
Right.
Sal Capaccio was out there today looking around the new place. Looked amazing. We'll talk to Sal about it, his maybe most impressive aspects of it. No supplemental draft. That's an interesting story. They're not going to let that quarterback kid into the league this year. So fantasy managers can relax.
Mm-hmm.
And also Geno Smith, perhaps, can relax. That might have been a pretty good idea for the Jets. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. This is WGR. Sal, in fact, coming up in just over 10 minutes. How hot is it in here today? Normal? Hotter than normal.
I feel fine.
Okay, I'm sweating a little bit.
I think the situation has been successfully addressed.
It's not back.
I feel like, yeah, it's not. Right. I definitely don't feel that, but, you know.
I'll trust you on that.
Yeah.
I went to the vending machine, and they are out of my preferred
Was this
beverage.
A snack or beverage trip?
Always a drink.
Always a drink, okay.
They're out. Two slots of it, both empty.
Boy.
Vending machine sadness.
Need some service. All right. How are you going to get through the day?
Well, you would have laughed if you'd seen me 20 minutes ago out there just staring at the machine, hoping something else will.
Is there a replacement that
pique my interest?
Haven't considered before?
Right.
May interest you perhaps in a diet wild cherry Pepsi.
Oh, gross. The closest I came to buying was the apple juice.
And then you realize you weren't 7 anymore.
That I didn't really want apple juice that much. But I think I'm going to crack.
You need something.
I need something that isn't coffee or water.
I want to say sweet there, but like your tea is unsweetened.
No,
drink,
that's
right?
that vitamin water is sweet.
Oh, I see.
That's what I want.
That's what you want.
That tea is in there.
Oh.
But I don't need unsweetened caffeine. I want a little bit of sugar.
I got you. Yeah.
I even, after staring at the vending machine for a good 30 seconds, plaintively, then started to walk away defeated. Then I thought, open the fridge.
Who knows what's in there?
Who knows what's in there? In theory, everything in there is somebody else's thing. Like it's not just like a vending machine. No money. It's just the people who work here they use the fridge.
Occasionally there are soft drinks in there.
That's what I was hoping for.
That look like they're left over from some event or something. Like there's like 5-6 of them in the corner of the fridge. Like those got to be fair game, right?
Well, that's what I was hoping
for.
There's beer in there that you probably belongs to nobody. I don't know. There's beer in there,
I've
but
seen that.
I need to figure something out. The drama continues. Sal next.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day, I'm right. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat, it. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Oh, sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster.
Highmark Stadium, and for more on this historic day, Sal Capaccio does have videos and pictures of the Bills' new stadium at his Twitter, @SalSports, and do stay tuned. We'll get more on today. Sal does join the show next. Staying with the NFL, there's not going to be any supplemental draft this year. The current NFL CBA does allow the league to decide to hold one or not. So with that, Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby will not be eligible to enter the NFL in 2026. He is, however, eligible to enter his name for the 2027 NFL Draft. Pete Thamel of ESPN reports that Sorsby's attorney, Jeffrey Kessler, said the NFL's decision is a violation of the CBA and the law, and they will pursue this with the NFLPA. To hockey, Darren Drager reporting that it appears that while there was ongoing extension discussions, all signs are pointing to Sabres forward Alex Tuch testing free agency. Calgary gets on the trade board. They acquired defenseman Simon Nemec from New Jersey for 2 first-round picks, 27 and 28. Both are top 10 protected. A second in this year's draft and a prospect. Nemec, though, is an RFA this summer, and as of now, the Flames do not have an extension in place. The NHL Board of Governors are meeting today, and expansion is potentially coming to the NHL. Commissioner Gary Bettman informed the board they will be opening the process to investigate Houston or Austin for an expansion franchise. And then over to the World Cup, more history. Cristiano Ronaldo, he scores twice today, meaning he is the first player to ever score in 6 World Cups, and he is now Portugal's all-time leading goal scorer at the World Cup with 10 career goals. Portugal did go on to beat Uzbekistan 5-0. We've got England taking on Ghana. That one just got underway. 7 p.m. sees Panama versus Croatia, and then at 10, Colombia takes on DR Congo. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Never, ever been more disappointed to not have there be an NFL supplemental draft than this moment, this year. I didn't really think about missing it over the years, like just sort of, it didn't leave much of a void in my life. But now, all right, We got something here. We got a guy. And it's fantasy relevant. Every league has to figure out what are they going to do about Brendan Sorsby. And then now they canceled it.
We'll see. The story has taken twists and turns before we even got to him applying for the supplemental draft. And maybe it's still, I mean, his lawyer's making a lot of noise. I mean, I don't know. It's the NFL. I mean, good luck to you if you're going to try to fight them and prove that they've done something. I think they can do pretty much whatever they want is how it feels. I mean, I'm sure that's not exactly right, but.
Now, we can't play college football either.
Right.
He might have some claim.
Yeah, he might. So the story, while not as intriguing as where will he go and how do I handle him if I'm a fantasy manager or commissioner or whatever, maybe there will be still layers to this story unfolding.
Let's give Sal Capaccio a crack at it if he wants one. Sal with us on the West Shore Hotline. What were your thoughts on this situation, Sal, if you have them?
I am kind of glad that he won't be playing in the NFL this year for the purpose of what he did, betting on gambling the way he did. I've held this position. I just think there should be more consequences. And the fact that he was going to be allowed kind of back to play college football in some respect was annoying and frustrating. It's since for many, many years, it's just the rule of law, right? When the rule of sports law, you gamble on your games, especially, you don't play. I mean, the integrity of the game is what matters most. The integrity of the competitiveness of the game is what matters most. And we can quibble about what Pete Rose gambled on or didn't gamble on, or this case here or this case there. But at the heart of everything, you want to make sure that the integrity of the competitiveness of the sport is intact. And when you have people who play these sports, who officiate these sports, who coach these sports, who have demonstrated that they are basically possibly willing to compromise that integrity in some respect, then I think you lose everything you're supposed to be about, and you can't let that happen.
Yeah, and I don't think it's that hard. I don't know if people who love to make the point about how duplicitous it appears to be that all of these leagues are so heavily invested in gambling now and partnered, the official whatever of whatever. But if you're if you're one of the participants, I think you should know enough to know, like, I can't do that if I want to continue to be a participant. Like, it's not that hard. The line is not that cloudy at all. It's definitive. And
it's also common sense.
Right. So, right. I love all the outcry, like, oh, yeah, a show like ours discussing it, and then here comes an ad for, again, yeah, well, that's, we sports fans enjoy gambling. It's enhanced the sporting landscape for, I think, a lot of people that can handle it and do it responsibly. If you're involved in the sport, don't do it. It's not hard.
Right. I agree. And I don't know. I think I've read today, I could be wrong, that, the NFL does have as its own discretion, like if they want to hold a supplemental draft. So maybe his lawyer's saying this is a violation of the CBA. Like, I don't think it is, because they can do that, but I'm not sure, right? I mean, there's things that'll be sorted out by lawyers in due time. But I'm glad. I'm glad today that, he is not going to be playing sports this year. And hey, I'm a forgiving person. I understand. I'm empathetic, and I do think people can change, and you can find your pathways back in some respects. So I'm not going to close the book on that eventually for this young man all the way down the road.
Right.
But I don't think that now is the right time for him to be playing football.
Yeah, I don't think it would have looked good for the league to say, yeah, sure, come on in after he got kicked out of college. I don't know.
I also don't. I don't know how I would like it if he's on my team. Like if I'm people are like, oh, the Bills should put a flyer on him. He's a young guy and groom him for Josh Allen's backup. I'm like, dude, that kid becomes the story the minute he walks in your door. Like, it's a distraction, a daily distraction, because everybody's going to be talking about it. You know what's going to happen no matter where he went, whether Jets, Browns, Bills, doesn't matter. The minute he throws an interception, you know what's going to happen. And I just don't know who would want that around their organization.
I'll tell you what. I was using the utmost responsibility last night trying to bet the White Sox. But it was one of those nights where at my house the wind was down, so DraftKings thought I was in Canada. And I could not make the bet, and then I was off to do something else. And when I got done, I put the White Sox game on, back and forth. They win it. Like, sure, of course. I wasn't even rooting for him at that point. Would have been a nice little hit.
One of my favorite recurring plot lines of our show is that sometimes your house thinks or your internet thinks you're in Canada.
Yeah.
I
Sometimes it works, no problem. Other times it just spins and spins and spins. We're checking on your location. Please go to your settings. No, I refuse to go to my settings.
As the crow flies, Mike, like directly, how close are you to Canada? Like the shortest distance from your house physically to the border?
I mean, right across the river. So however wide the river is the answer to that.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't look like it's more than a couple hundred yards to me.
Okay,
I could be wrong.
Because I thought I was close.
Yeah,
you might be closer than me then. You're closer than me. I'm like maybe 5 or 6 blocks and then the river. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like right there.
Maybe a quarter mile.
Maybe a quarter mile.
Yeah.
Maybe a half mile. Something like that. All right, Sal. Well, how was the stadium tour and the whole ceremony today?
I mean, the stadium tour was incredible. The stadium is amazing. And yeah, the ceremony was good. They did a really fine job. And, the ribbon cutting and, you've been at these kinds of things and they've had them here at the stadium a few times for different things along the way, the groundbreaking and the last beam that went up.
Topping
and now,
off, right, yeah.
Yeah, and now today. But I mean, for us in the media, for me to get a tour of that stadium and, there were a lot of Buffalo media there who are not Bills beat reporters. They're not people who cover the team on a regular basis. They're news people or some other, entertainment, whatever it is. And, might be on TV and, anchors. But there were people who asked me, hey, how does this compare? Because I have been to all but 3 NFL stadiums. And I will tell you the answer I gave them is the answer I'm going to tell everybody right now. I'm not saying this because I'm Sal in Buffalo on the radio because it can sound like that sometimes. It is as nice or nicer than any stadium I've been in. It is brand new. There's no doubt. Like, it reminds me in different ways of different stadiums. Like, for example, when you walk around like the suites or the hallways or whatever, the nicer areas of SoFi, it's pretty new. Like, it's just like that. The difference is SoFi is a venue. It's an entertainment venue. It is not actually built to be a football stadium. That is part of what they do. They're actually going to have swimming in the Olympics at SoFi. They're putting pools there, right? Like this, though, is a football stadium. So you get all that, and then you walk in and say, oh, yeah, this is for football. The first time today today was the first time that I've been there. I've been inside there maybe like 4 times. Today was the first one where I actually felt when I was on the field, there was a football game coming up. It felt like a pregame getting to the stadium early with the music and maybe a handful of people there doing some different things, getting ready, and you get a little bit of, those juices flowing like, oh, there's something happening here today. Like, today was the first time I felt that.
Yeah. For me, not being able to get out there today was a day where there's times when there's news conferences happening or just any news at all, like a Wednesday injury report, where I question how smart it is to follow the number of people that are on the beat that I do,
right,
because it's very repetitive. It's just like one after the other, like here's, maybe slightly different wording, but like the same message. Today was a day that I was extremely pleased that I've maintained following all of those people, because everyone was posting different pictures and different videos. And I feel like if I'd been there, I might not have seen as much of the stadium as I saw following, a half a dozen or more of folks like yourself who cover the team. And I mean, it's still not having set foot in there. It's hard to be blown away, but I'm pretty much blown away by what I've seen so far, Sal. There's lots of really cool touches, I think.
Yes.
One of which, Kathleen Fitzgerald, who's one of these reporters I'm referring to.
Catherine Fitzgerald.
Catherine, thank you. God, sorry. She posted some pictures of art displays, and I think said eventually there's going to be like a little QR code so you can, on your phone, find out who, and maybe even, patronize this artist in some other way if you really like their work. And I just think, and I happen to know a couple of people who've been commissioned to do that work. I'm just so pleased that that's a piece of this to me. Like, I would have never thought a football stadium going up would feature that. And I mean, I know that's not top of mind for everyone, but I just think it's a really nice touch that they were thoughtful enough to include.
I'm glad you mentioned Catherine's tweet about that. By the way, she's at KFitz134 if people want to see the pictures, because
thank you.
I did not take a picture of all the different art. I took a picture that was really cool. There was actually a completely made of Legos stadium and fans, and it was really cool. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So I took a picture, and then all the artwork, and I'm like, man, I didn't really take a picture of a lot of the artwork they were talking about and all the different things. There's a great big portrait of Ralph Wilson in there, and I even tweeted out a picture of the Lego thing that I'm talking about, and I said, hey, there's so much artwork in there. And then when Catherine did, I'm like, I'm so glad she did that because it deserves its attention, and it's really paying homage to local artists and to Buffalo. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm telling folks right now, if they're going to go to games, you might not learn for years and years or maybe never. You have to kind of pay attention to or read about or really care about maybe all the little details that do have to kind of do with Buffalo in some way, shape, or form. They've incorporated. There was one little tiny piece that we're looking at, like, see how that's curved? That's because it's in the style of the grain elevators. I'm not kidding, right? It's like, okay, yeah, that looks right. Like, oh yeah, I can see that totally right there. There's another piece it's just like the Albright Knox Art Gallery, and then you have the art that's right in there. Super cool. So, when they say they made it for Buffalo to represent Buffalo, I don't think you get the full scope of that unless you really care to understand what all of that means and see it.
So you guys were allowed to tweet pictures of anything you saw, unlike camp?
Yes and no. On the media tour, yes. Okay. But we were given a separate tour of just the media who cover the team regularly of like press box, locker room, things like that. And that was just for us.
Okay.
So that we knew it really was for our operation. Like they started us here. You're going to walk in here. Here's where the players are coming in. You can get shots of arrivals here. Then you take your credential. You go to this area, come up this elevator. Here's the press box. This is where everything's located in the press box. After the game, go down this elevator to get to the locker room. Here's the locker room. Here's the post-game press room, all that kind of stuff.
How, just to ask, how much of an adjustment is this for players, really? I mean, a lot of these guys have been on other teams anyway. They haven't spent their entire football lives at the old place. But I don't know. I mean, are there areas where something meaningful will be different in terms of preparation or just, I don't know, the field itself? I mean, it's grass field, for one thing. That's a change.
Grass field with turf sidelines, except for, and that's not uncommon in the NFL. Now there's a few stadiums like that. I think Cleveland, Pittsburgh, some of the Northeast fields with grass. I think Kansas City might do that now too, but except for the one little patch of grass on the sidelines, which is for the kicker and punter to warm up to get ready, so they can be ready to go out on the field like that. There is, I would say this, Mike, to answer your question, is I don't think it's much of an adjustment because they play at new stadiums all the time. Like every week you're in a new stadium, basically. Today, several of us commented to each other, I feel like I'm just at a road stadium, like for the first time. Like I'm visiting a road stadium that I've never been in, and I have to learn about it. Because when you get to those road stadiums, sometimes that's it. You get in there, you learn about where you're going, kind of the DNA of the place, where this is, where that is. Well, that's what it felt like a little bit today. But we were on our own stadium. I think there are a couple things, though. I think the one of the biggest changes for this team, if they've been on the team, they do have a really nice locker room. Although Bulldog, I know you've never been in there. I listened the other day. I do know they do have a really nice locker room at the older Highmark Stadium, which has been renovated over the years a few times. But the new one is just spacious and spectacular and super easy to navigate and see your teammates right there. More like a hockey locker room would be designed, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah. But bigger because there's so many guys. And then like the seats they're sitting in with their outlets on the wall and to pull the seat up to put stuff in, like that's going to be really cool. But then there is, and I don't think we saw this today. I didn't see it personally, but I know it's there. There is like I don't want to say how long it is without knowing for sure. It might be 30 yards, 20 yards, 40 yards. There's a field, like a turf field near the locker room where players will be able to like warm up, or if they're injured in the game, they can go and they can be like, they can rehab and run and do high knees and work out. Like that's new. I've never seen anything like that. And they're going to have that ability to do that, like right there inside, like the tunnel, you might call it, or near the locker room without like anybody seeing them in just being kind of a private area. All of the different amenities they need for training during a game, and all the things you can think of with working out or tubs and stuff like that, I'm sure are also a part of it right there on site. And then when they walk out, so the team will walk out of a tunnel in the corner of the end zone for the game. They'll go out there, they'll warm up, they'll go back in. When they go in at halftime for the game, it's halftime, they're going to go in under their bench, okay? Right behind their bench, there's that locker room. And you guys know there's Field Club now, and people can buy seats, and the Field Club gets you there. So they'll go in that way. When they come back out at halftime, it's very much like Dallas when you see it. They will walk past fans who have Field Club access, who can just go down there. And I think that's just like a waist-high glass. It's not even like a big barrier there where you could literally – these guys might be able to give you high fives, essentially.
I think I can guess, but I'm not sure. What are the 3 stadiums you haven't seen? Vegas, San Francisco, Arizona?
Correct, because of COVID, yes.
Right. The Bills were in Vegas, and they were in Arizona. Right. They played San Francisco in Arizona anyway. Right. So they haven't been to San Francisco in a long time, the Bills.
That was the last time they were there was the year before I became the sideline reporter. So, that's why I didn't go to Arizona that year either. And then, so that we, 2013? And then, Vegas during COVID, they would have went there. And, of course, Arizona as well. And like you said, San Francisco. I mean, all 3 were essentially on the list.
Yep.
And then, there was a Super Bowl in Vegas, a Super Bowl in San Fran, right? I think that all that's happened since, I think.
Look at it, right.
Yeah, it never really happened there. But they will go to Vegas this year. So I'll be in Vegas for the first time. And I think that, like, Vegas was one of these stadiums. Like, I know that people in the Bills front office and Terry Pegula and his team, I know they went to a lot of different stadiums around the league, and like I think Vegas was also one of them that like kind of stood out to be like, oh yeah, they've done a lot of cool things here that we can take little bits and pieces from.
And I heard Terry Pegula make mention of having been to Tottenham as well, which a lot of people have connected, and I don't think the Bills have ever really hidden from that the design was heavily influenced. On the locker room, I did see a clip of our old friend Frank Cravata, who's from the Bills end, is like probably the guy that's maybe most responsible for a lot of these little design touches, along with the architects and all the the people that aren't directly employed by the Bills. But I saw Frank narrating a piece in the locker room demonstrating. First of all, you mentioned like each locker is going to have the outlets, and like it's basically a power strip that's hidden that like popped up from the shelf in the locker, which is pretty cool. But the reason I'm even bringing this up is that he mentioned how the lighting is designed to, depending on what they're wearing, it will change like the mood in the room. The lighting in the room will complement. If they're wearing all white, there's more white light. If they're wearing red or blue, that the shades of the way the room is lit will represent what they're wearing that day.
I want that.
Yeah, we saw that today, and I couldn't take a picture, obviously, like I said, I tweeted out, but yes, that was exactly it, and I remember that. So we asked staff there about it, and that was exactly what was said to us. So it was red and blue on top of the ceiling.
Yeah.
But like if the Bills are wearing all white that day, they can make it just look all white. And I think it's going to match exactly what you said, Bulldog, which is and they can do all that. And they have the ability to change that lighting. They have the ability to change the lighting down at the down inside the Field Club where you see that big bar, and they can change all that lighting down there to represent. One of the cooler things, I've never seen this anywhere, is, and I'm very interested how this is going to, I'm sure it'll be fine, but so if you have Field Club access, that's, I think, sections 109, 110, 111 maybe. You can go down into the Field Club, which is right behind and underneath like the bench area there where the players walk in. But that's also where the post-game press conference is going to be for Joe Brady and Josh Allen, and fans will be able to literally see into the glass while that is happening.
Wow. The Bills' last game in San Francisco, Chan Gailey was their coach. They've not been there since. Kaepernick.
And that's still Candlestick. That's
right? Candlestick.
Yeah,
right.
It's not the new place.
Alex Smith started that 45-3. Remember that game? San Francisco won 45-3.
Oh yeah, they like ran for 300 and threw for 300 or something like that. It was like right. It was a really, really big number. Before I forget, there was one thing I did want to bring up, because especially with Bulldog, with music and concerts, and this is a place where we're all gonna go, and I know that probably appeal to you pretty well. I would say the acoustics were incredible today. So something I learned, I didn't know, but we were in there, and they're playing the music, and it was, you could hear it. It wasn't super loud, but it was nice and clear. And then Frank Corvada said to me, he's like, he goes, when we really crank it up, he said, we did that, and all of our watches were going off saying like, hey, loud music, right, exactly. So we get over to like where the charge bar is over in the end zone. And they did. Like, they turned it up. And we had I have video of this at my Twitter at Sal Sports, and I said you could listen to this. They cranked up AC/DC Hell's Bells, and it sounded so good. I mean, like, so loud and so crystal clear. Like, when you go to these stadiums and these venues, as you guys know, like, you get that echo, right? Especially because there's that overhang now and all that. There was nothing like that. And what I learned was, and Frank told me this, so right underneath, like, the 200 level overhang there, like near the charge bar and all that, around the stadium, I think there's like 700 like little speakers that actually are designed to time up the sound hitting you where you're sitting the way it should instead of having the echo.
Sports.
I'm suddenly thinking of like 19-year-old me pulling up to my friend's house going, get in my car, you got to hear this new Sanyo 200-watt stereo I just got.
Yes.
Right? Doing that with a stadium has got to be a pretty boss move. It's got to feel pretty good.
I said, how do you find people that even do these things? And, he said, listen, we really sought out the best audio engineers in the world to do these kinds of things. And that's what we were after. And when it came to the video board and the sound, and it shows. I'm just telling you, like, it doesn't do justice. Videos and pictures that I post, it's really pretty damn cool.
One other thing I observed from just looking at these photos and the videos that so many of you and your peers posted this morning, Sal, when they initially had put the seats in with the red and white and the blue and the sort of swirling, and the rest of the stadium wasn't, like, all the finishing touches weren't there, I wasn't sure how that was going to land on me, but seeing them now with all the finishing touches there, like logos and the colors on the walls around the field and upper, I think it really looks great. The choice they made to seemingly somewhat randomly just have the seats colored the way they are. I'm sure it wasn't entirely random. It just kind of looks that way. I think it totally works.
I agree. It's kind of different and a little weird when you think about it, and then you see it being put together, and then you're there, and then you're like, oh yeah, it doesn't spell out anything or anything like that, right? It's just there. Like, why is it like that? I don't know. I mean, yeah, you're right. Maybe some areas are certain colors for certain reasons, but a lot of it is actually quite random. And then where the in the north end zone, where that charge bar is, I don't know about the south end zone. I wasn't there I didn't go over to that spot, but in the north end zone, like, I took a picture. I mean, some of the seats where people are going to be sitting are the most cushiony. Like, imagine, like, being in a golf cart and saying, this is the best seat I've ever sat in a golf cart, right? Like, it feels like that. Right. Really cool. And then real quick, I got to tell you, so I remember this is years and years ago after the Pagulas bought the team, Kim and I had conversations about eventually what a new stadium would look like. And this is probably 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. And she said to me once, she said, she goes, I don't understand, and I would really like in the new stadium for this to be different, why if you're maybe a suite holder and you're like at the 10-yard line and one of your friends is a suite holder on the same side, but in the other 10-yard line, why you got to go outside and go, you can't meet them. You can't go see them, right? They're all totally separate. And she said in the new stadium, like to build an area where everybody could just kind of gather. And guys, like, it came to fruition. And I get emotional thinking about it because Kim told me that. And I relayed that story today to Frank. He's like, you're right. And Todd Starowitz, I told him, and he said, you're right. And it's because that was Kim's vision. And they have this large, really awesome atrium with TVs and lounge chairs, and you can have a corporate event there. You can have a fantasy football draft there. You can have a Christmas party. But it's cool because no matter where your suite is, you can get together with people to enjoy the day, the game, a blowout, whatever.
Sounds like a lot. Thank you, Sal, for this, and we'll talk again soon.
You got it, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, excellent. Sal Capaccio on the Wester Hotline. His appearances are brought to you by New York's only outlet, Liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
It's all very exciting. My first game, I sat on a metal bench in the pouring rain wearing a garbage bag, and somehow I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how many speakers they had, but, man, it was good enough for me. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. This is WGR.
Busy, busy day. We'll start in the NFL. There's not going to be a supplemental draft this year, as the current NFL CBA does allow the league to decide to hold one or not, and that means Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby will not be eligible to enter the NFL in 2026. He is, however, eligible to enter his name for the 2027 NFL Draft. Pete Thamel of ESPN is reporting that Sorsby attorney Jeffrey Kessler said the NFL's decision is a violation of the CBA and the law, and they will pursue this with the NFLPA. We also have a contract extension today as well. The Falcons signing tight end Kyle Pitts to a 3-year, $54 million contract. It does include $36 million fully guaranteed. To hockey, Darren Drager reporting that it does appear that while there were ongoing extension discussions, all signs are pointing to Sabres forward Alex Tuch testing free agency. We did have a trade from Calgary today as they acquired defenseman Simon Nemec from Jersey for 2 first-round picks, 2027 and 28, both of which, though, are top 10 protected, a second in this year's draft and a prospect. Nemec, though, is an RFA this summer, and as of now, the Flames do not have an extension in place. And then NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman said with the media today that the Board of NHL Governors have agreed to a $3.5 billion expansion fee if they go ahead with the expansion to either Houston or Austin, with the Friedrich family being the family that is heading this. Bettman said the process is expected to take 6 months to decide if it is a go or not. And then over in the World Cup, earlier today, Portugal went on to beat Uzbekistan 5-0. England and Ghana are scoreless at about the 34-minute mark. 7 p.m. we'll have Panama versus Croatia, and then at 10, Colombia, they take on DR Congo. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
From a timing perspective, probably the Stadium Series, it's typically a February event. We want to get through the season and, make sure that we can execute it at a high level. In a perfect world, we'd love to do it on the 20th anniversary of the original Winter Classic when it was here. But we're in deep discussions with the NHL. We feel really good about the prospect of hosting a game here.
Bills and Sabres COO Pete Gwelly. So that'd be what? 28? January 1, 28 would be 20 years from that day? It's the 7-8 season.
Yeah, it was January 1st, 2008 was the game. Yeah.
All right. To update the situation from earlier, apple juice.
Yeah, I saw it when we were getting going with Sal. I noticed it, and I decided not to sidetrack us.
I just
getting into Sal, so but not that I'm complaining that you brought it up now. I definitely wanted to mention it. You wanted the apple juice.
I laughed when you made the apple juice crack.
You're not 7.
I'm not 7 years old.
Yeah.
But then I got out there and I'm like, that's not really fair. Apple juice is fine, even if you're an adult, I think. I want to stick up for apple juice. So I bought some. How do you like that?
It to me is the tomato ketchup of drinks. It's the tomato ketchup on a hot dog of drinks, I guess. Because I say the same thing pretty disparagingly about ketchup on hot dogs. Like, what are you doing here? What are you 9? Of course.
It's not perfectly fine to like apple juice if you're a grown-up.
I'm just going to stick with no. It's not. It's not perfectly fine. No.
What about cider?
Cider's better, but still not.
The problem is the apples.
Still not great. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I will drink. Mostly, I'll grab. It's not uncommon for there to be a jug of cider in the fridge, and that is something I will take at home.
Okay.
I will take I wouldn't do this at work.
I would run right out there right now if there were one here.
I will take a swig out of the jug from the fridge. Like you look in the fridge, put it
jug swig.
Right, jug swig. Apple juice, I would never do that with. I would never. I just wouldn't do it. I don't know.
What's top juice?
Top juice?
Yeah.
Well,
orange juice?
I think orange juice is the top-ranking juice. My preference is an orange pineapple mix. Myself, I like that.
What are you, Tom Sitch? Now you're mixing top juice?
Yeah.
How about some banana, cranberry, pineapple juice or something? Raspberry. They have those.
I'm not against a little banana in there too. That works.
You unwrap it. first, and then you.
But orange
blend it.
Orange pineapple is my.
Make sure to remember to
is
unwrap
my
it.
favorite. Like if I decide we need juice, like if I just on a Sunday get up and decide I'm going to make brunch, which happens from time to time.
Make a juice
and
run.
I run to Dashes. I'm going to grab a half gallon of orange pineapple. That will be my choice.
I love that choice. When I was a kid playing tennis at the old Buffalo Tennis Center, across from where Channel 4 is,
All right, yep.
on Elmwood,
Remember it?
I would have a lesson on a Saturday morning. I would have lessons, and then there was a bar between the front of the place and the tennis courts. I can still kind of smell that place, even though it's so long ago. I mean, in a good way. It was a good, the tennis smell, like the new balls, and there's a tennis smell that I think I would be nostalgic about.
Yeah.
But after my lesson, my father would treat me to a juice at the bar. Orange pineapple was it.
All right.
That's the one. That was the one. We might agree on this.
Stunning. Let me change my mind.
If that were out there, I missed an opportunity. I went with the apple, though. It just felt like it needed to be defended.
All right. Well, knock yourself out.
NHL expansion.
Sure.
Here we go. Here it is again.
Sure.
Another thing. Well, easy for me to say. If I'm in Houston, maybe I would not say this. Or Austin, Texas, which might also get a team, apparently. Another thing nobody wanted from sports that we're going to get. More NHL teams.
In non-traditional hockey markets at that, too.
Why not? Put it anywhere you want.
Forget about another team in Toronto or Quebec City. Let's see how Willie Nelson likes having a hockey team. Let's do that.
You got to admit, they're winning on that front.
Yeah, they
NHL.
are. Yeah, those teams are flourishing. Players want to go there. The tax laws, depending on which place we're talking about, are favorable.
Houston is huge.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense. It's just we're just always going to have more sports teams.
Yeah. There's not
32 isn't enough,
and adding one is a move. Like I don't know.
Where do you put it?
33 teams now. One's gonna. I don't know. I like when there's an even number of teams.
Me too.
So sort of like the NFL with the 17 games versus 16 or even 18. Like just get me back to where I can have 500.
That's right.
So get me to 17 in each league, please, or each conference if you're going to do anything. But it seems like they're talking about just adding one. So it's not Austin and Houston. It appears to be Houston or Austin.
Okay.
Or Austin or Houston. Like one of them maybe getting a team. I mean,
whatever.
Go nuts, everybody. I think
Quebec is never going to happen, right?
It seems like it would have already 5 expansions ago. I think. If it were going to happen.
You and I and a lot of hockey fans would be nostalgic for it and would probably get into it. If they were expanding in Quebec, I'd feel differently than I do about their expanding in Texas, if that's what ends up happening.
Yeah.
Because it'll take you back to the Nordiques. But here we're living at a time where the whole conversation with the NHL is like where players wanting to go play in only certain places. And if you're from Quebec, that's one thing. But the dollar and everything about... Reminds me of being in Rochester when the soccer team, the Rhinos, were like a phenomenon. Just huge crowds. They went and won the U.S. Open Cup, which is the tournament, the annual tournament with teams from all levels. And they went and beat maybe 3 MLS teams and won that. They were just a huge deal. And MLS was really young. And there was this drumbeat in Rochester like, well, what do we have to do? We've got huge crowds. We've got an excellent organization at the time. You had sort of like the resume for a team. And we would have Don Garber, the commissioner of Major League Soccer, would once in a while be interviewed in the media and say all the right things about how impressed. It was never, ever going to happen. It's too small.
Right.
So I don't know if I have the timing right, but I remember there was one announcement where they were expanding to Philadelphia, I think it was. And like, okay, well, that's tough to measure up to.
You can understand Philadelphia winning the day versus Rochester, New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Seattle.
Right.
And Seattle was in their league for a minute. And then Seattle got a team. I almost ended up going out there for that job, but didn't happen. And yeah, like it was fun to think about, to dream about, but it was never, ever going to happen. I mean, maybe it still could. I don't know how things may have changed there, but.
Yeah, I wonder, like.
We would say, Bulldog, that league, MLS, is anybody watch? We'd all condescend to it. And how do they expect to grow the game? With soccer, you have that other particular responsibility, apparently, to grow the game.
Right.
If you're in markets where nobody cares. Well, they put teams in big markets and got people to care about them, apparently.
And now Messi plays in their league. I mean, how would you... I don't know. I'm not an expert on it. I doubt that you are. Like, was Rochester getting an MLS team less realistic than us getting a Major League Baseball team back in like 88, 89 when the ballpark first opened?
No, I don't think it was. Yes, it was less realistic. Yes, I want to say that. Buffalo in the 80s at least got on a list.
Yeah, they were.
They presented.
Right.
And seemed to have a pretty good case for it, but maybe they suffered the same fate.
Eventually, yeah, right.
Just Denver and Miami.
Yeah. But yeah, that's right. Bob Rich they were maybe even, it was them, Colorado, Florida, and maybe one other place.
I think there were 4, yeah.
And they were on the short list, and maybe Rochester never got that far with MLS.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know that they ever even got a meeting.
Yeah.
Just
right.
Maybe they did.
It was just maybe sort of a patronizing mention from the commissioner whenever it felt like it was needed. This maybe what we got.
Friends in my circles and like in media wanted to break the door down to get them to recognize us. And, okay, I see you. Hi. But look over there.
Right. There's a lot more. There's cranes over there.
Look over there.
Buildings.
Let's do that. 803-0550 for us. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog will spend more time on the Sabres. Alex Tuck, another report that he is probably gone. And then there are these rumors that they might be negotiating for a couple of the league's top goaltenders. What do you think about that? Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, back after this on WGR. Another hockey trade
Hey, now.
happened in the way that it happens. If you follow online, Elliot Friedman 8 minutes ago. Hearing Ottawa is focusing hard on San Jose's William Eklund as a trade target.
You leave the room, boom.
Five
done.
minutes later, sources confirmed that Ottawa is acquiring William Eklund from San Jose.
I don't have
He's got
I don't have the return yet, so I don't know what Ottawa's sending back to San Jose, but that's a nice player. He's 22, which is not old, but for San Jose, that has like 19 and 20-year-olds that are their best players, basically. That includes Celebrini, Will Smith, Michael Misa. He's like a little, I don't know, he's a tweener, I guess, for them. So maybe they have enough young guys there that they feel like they can give one up. They should be shopping for a defenseman, but I don't know that there's a match there. I'm waiting to see what Ottawa's sending back to San Jose. But that's a player. He's already on a second contract, this guy. Which expires in a couple of years. So, not exactly. He's already established, I guess. 23 years old, left wing center, $5.5 million is his contract for 3 more seasons.
Is he a Kachuk replacement?
Got to be part of it, yeah. I would think. I mean, I don't think he's that style player, but yeah, I mean he's a forward, so sure. Top 6, yeah, sure.
One of the draft picks that they got?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I still, it's funny. I've got like a half a dozen tweets, and including like the wins over replacement card and above replacement, all that, and I still don't see what Ottawa is sending over there. So that's a little weird, I think, but whatever.
Draft is Friday night.
Yes, it is.
Paul reminded us yesterday that teams don't come for it anymore.
Right.
But it's still an event like you can get a ticket to.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the idea. Hosting the draft. I mean, to not have the building be open would be kind of silly. So, yeah.
Just trying to picture it.
Yeah, I know.
With all the players, you have a stage. Commissioner gives a speech to the players.
I wonder, like, stage, like maybe a few stages. Like the thing they did last year had like different little areas, at least on TV. I don't know what the room they were in looked like. I don't remember. Was that Vegas or something? Where
I don't
were they?
know.
The
I don't remember anything
Sphere
about
or
it.
Something. I feel like the Sphere was the last centralized draft. Anyway, I don't know what it will look like being in there, but all I know is on TV it was really, really weird. It was just a weird presentation last year. Like, can't stop watching it weird. Because it was incredible.
Having nothing to do with the venue.
No, right. It was just the TV presentation was awkward at best.
Yeah.
Owen and I were I was crying, laughing, watching it, literally. Like, it was bad.
Team executives introducing themselves to their picks on Zoom.
Right.
Talking about how excited they are. That got old pretty quick.
With a tragic delay, no less.
More after the update here on WGR.
Busy day in the NHL. Darren Drager reporting that it appears while there were ongoing extension discussions, all signs pointing to Sabres forward Alex Tuch testing free agency when that opens up in early July. We do also have some trades going down today. Calgary earlier this afternoon acquired defenseman Simon Nemec from New Jersey for 2 first-round picks, 27 and 28 first-rounders, both of which are top 10 protected. A second in this year's draft and a prospect. Nemec, though, is in RFA this summer, and as of now, the Flames do not have an extension in place to keep him. And then multiple reports have Ottawa acquiring forward William Eklund from San Jose, but compensation for that deal has not yet been reported. And then expansion could be on the horizon for the NHL, as Commissioner Gary Bettman did say with the media that the Board of NHL Governors have agreed to a $3.5 billion expansion fee if they do go ahead with the expansion in either Houston or Austin, with the Friedrich family heading that. And then Bettman also said the process could take 6 months to decide if it is a go or not. In the NFL, the Falcons have signed tight end Kyle Pitts to a 3-year, $54 million contract extension. It does include $36 million fully guaranteed, and there will not be a supplemental draft this year, as the current NFL CBA does allow the league to decide to hold one or not. So Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby will not be eligible to enter the NFL in 2026. He is, however, eligible to enter his name in the 2027 NFL draft, but Pete Thamel of ESPN reports Sorsby's attorney, Jeffrey Kessler, said the NFL's decision is a violation of the CBA and the law, and they will pursue this with the NFLPA. Then the World Cup, we've got 4 games today. One is already in the books. Portugal beat Uzbekistan 5-0. England and Ghana are at the half. That game is scoreless. 7 p.m. sees Panama versus Croatia, and then at 10, Colombia takes on DR Congo. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp.
This guy's a real jerk.
And the Bulldog.
I'm sort of anal retentive, OCD kind of whack job.
On WGR.
Hi there. Do you think the Sabres are shopping for a new goaltender? Perhaps in the highest rent district of them all? And do you think they should be? If they are or aren't? We don't know. But they are connected through reports to Connor Hellebuck and Winnipeg, and Sergei Bobrovsky of Florida. Bobrovsky is up, so he'll be a free agent next week unless he signs with Florida before that. Hellebuck is under contract with the Jets for a few more years.
3 or 4 more years, $8.5 million. I think that's the right time frame. I got to double check, but it's a few years. You'd be buying 34-year-old guy into his late 30s. For 8.5. 8.5 is, with the cap going up, is, I don't know, it's
not a bad deal.
It's not outrageous, really.
He's not overpaid.
No. In fact, he's probably, I would say, underpaid for his level of accomplishment.
Even better,
considering what Shesterkin and maybe Bobrovsky's been getting 10 a year. I don't know what he'll get on a new deal at his age, but
he'll be 38.
Yeah, right.
When were we talking about Hellebuck before? Was it last year or 2 years ago? When was he rumored to be potentially available? 2 years? I don't think it was last year. The Sabres had Levi. The guy we were talking about the most often of their goalies was Levi. 3 years ago? Is that long ago now?
Man, I don't remember. I know it did come up. And then I think he was the MVP, and did he win MVP and Hart?
You mean and Vezina?
And Vezina, I mean, yeah. I think that happened. I think that happened. They won the President's Trophy, and I think he swept
24-25.
Yeah.
So
I doubt
last
we
summer
were talking. Yeah, I can't imagine during that year we were talking about him being available.
So the year before.
So maybe it would have been before that. Yeah.
Well, I just think it's kind of funny. The Sabres were trying to get into the playoffs. So how do you do it? And that's a move that they had not made before.
Kingpin goalie. Right.
They'd won lotteries. They had done, whatever you want to say, different strategies in free agency. But the goaltending mostly was hit and hope, back up type guys that maybe if you expanded their role, they would pay off for you. I don't remember, minding any of that. Like I was always, usually anyway, on board with that kind of strategy, often referring to a Kevin Adams comment made once about how the thing with goalies is you just don't always get what you think you're getting, which is totally correct. I mean, there are lots of examples of goalies spiking and then coming back down. Even Ryan Miller was this player too.
It's one of the reasons why, outside of the Bobrovsky-Hellebuck category, I would not at all consider changing their goaltending trio at all. Maybe they're going to trade Devin Levi away. He's not a part of the trio. I guess you could trade Ellis away and make Levi that third guy, whatever. But you don't move Alex Lyon out for Cam Talbot, right? You don't move Luukkonen out for I don't know. I'm struggling to think of like a $5 or $6 million goalie. But you're just shuffling cards and hoping you get the guy that has the good year, right? But if you're buying a trade for a guy off of a good year, that's in that pool,
right? Look out!
All you're doing is you're just flipping cards and hoping you hit. Is all you're doing. You might as well just stand pat. But the other category is the proven year-over-year great goaltender. And Hellebuck is still absolutely in that category. Maybe even more so than Bobrovsky. I mean, Bobrovsky's more decorated now with 2 cups prior to this year falling apart for Florida. But, I mean, at this stage of the age, it's a 4-year age difference. That's a big difference. Like, I would have an easier time stomaching paying Hellebuck however many years he's got left at 8.5 into his late 30s than signing up for what's rumored to be a 6-year deal is what Bobrovsky is said to be looking for. And I doubt he's looking to take a huge pay cut off of what he's been getting paid as an unrestricted free agent. So that just sounds sounds real slippery to me. I'd be really nervous about that.
Well, whenever it was, and I'm going to say again, I think it was 2 years ago, I was not on board. It was my brand, kind of just somebody that I'll take my chances with certain of these backups. I don't think I want pedigree. I don't want to pay top dollar. That might have been top dollar 3 or 4 years ago, whenever, however that lined up. Wasn't impressed with the idea. Right now, I feel kind of differently about it. Because when we talked this through earlier, I just don't see, I don't want to say it too strongly because there are other answers to this. There are other ideas. But I could see the Sabres thinking that they're a goalie away. How about putting it that way? This goalie away. Like you, I don't have any time for anybody that's not on the top tier. And there are only really ever a couple of guys on the top tier. He's one of them. He almost defines it.
Yep.
He is coming off a down year for him. But a lot of the stats say don't worry about it too much.
Yep.
Anyway, I think I could see them thinking that. And they're probably expecting to lose Tuck. They're also, I'm sure, optimistic that their young forwards will fill the void. And anybody else they could go get. There's money to spend still, and you don't have to spend money on him anymore if that happens. And then even with the Byram piece, if he wants to leave and they accommodate him, they'd get a pretty good return for him. And it could even be this player, Hellebuck. There could even be a fit there, supposedly. So I don't know. I know you said before, you hope that the Sabres aren't calculating their offseason that way, that they think the big goalie get
that
is
they're prioritizing
going to,
it. Right, yeah.
But I guess I keep saying the same thing, which is not me saying, planting a flag for this idea myself, but I'm getting closer.
Yeah.
And I could just imagine, given how the season ended and how good they were, you know what? Maybe we got away with it a little bit in that. And we're exposed in the Montreal series. So How about this idea?
It is 5 more years, by the way, Hellebuck. Through 30-31 is the contract, but the money's right, 8.5. I am certainly, I would not be in a position to pitch a fit if they traded, I guess I want to, add depending on what I'm giving up, at sight unseen. I don't want to just say, whatever you got to do it, and I'm going to like it. But I could get there. I can certainly understand if they end up there, and I'm choosing that phrasing intentionally because to me it is, and this isn't maybe ideal, and maybe this is ass backwards way to go about it. But from my view, I would prioritize, this would be the move I make if I can't do something else up front. Like if I can't find my way to offloading Josh Norris and replacing him with Robert Thomas, or getting the Leafs interested in Bowen Byram and an extension for him, and that gets me Matthew Nyes. Does Dylan Larkin want to waive his can Tage Thompson put a call into Dylan Larkin? Does he want to waive his no trade? What does that package look like? I can't do that, right? Any of the St. Louis guy, already mentioned Thomas, but Kairu's another idea there, winger, and it seems much more, it's certainly being talked about much more, that he's going to be moved, and the Thomas thing is cooled down, but that could just be, GM smoke for all we know. If you can't pull off that, which I'm sure they want to do something. I mean, I believe that Jarmo Kekalainen wanted to add Robert Thomas to this team for the playoffs this year. So if he wanted to do that, then I'm sure he still is thinking, I don't know if that involves swapping out Norris, but the money almost necessitates it because even losing Tuck only opens up so much more for you, considering how little he's been getting paid currently. Little, I know, right? $4.5 million. So if all of that doesn't work, and I think you got to do something significant that, makes an example for your fans that like you're trying to improve, you're working to improve the hockey team. And look, the news conference sounds the same no matter what order these things are prioritized in. Whatever news conference, whatever they're announcing at the news conference is what the plan was. We were working on Connor Hellebuck for 4 months. And that very well may be true because you got to lay groundwork. You got to be working on it if you're going to be in line to pull the trigger should it, become realistic that it's going to happen. I hope anyway, I can't know, because it's perfectly reasonable to think that they could be prioritizing getting Connor Hellebuck as their offseason move and just backfilling the roster with kids and hoping that that's enough. Or really selling us on the idea that that's enough. But I think I would rather stand pat with goalie and spend my resources on those other players. But I can't know that I'm going to be able to pull them in. And if Hellebuck, if you can get that done, then that becomes your offseason plan, I think. But either way, you got to do something. Like staying pat with goalies, trading Byram because you feel like you have to, and letting Tuck walk, and then re-signing Malenstein and maybe a couple of $2 or $3 million guys that are just sort of bottom fillers. Maybe you trade away Greenway and replace him with someone making half as much money or something like that. Like they'll do other stuff. But as far as impactful, top of the lineup moves, I think if you end up on Hellebuck, that's it. Like that's your big move. And again, I'm saying end up on because I do think it is right to consider the other things bigger priorities.
Well, you're talking about a press conference and they try to sell you on the idea that this is what they wanted most. If we're talking about can they sell the idea of it working, I'm buying.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's some combination of these pieces and I get this goaltender, and this is interesting to me because I'm usually not this way, but with this team, I could buy it. I think it would dramatically change their cup odds, which to me are suspiciously not great for what kind of season they just had. I think whether it's really right or not, the takeaway most people would have about the Sabres is that they just didn't have it in net in the end. And I know how Carolina won, and I know Carter Hart and how seemingly random
Bussy
the goalie stuff
right.
is. Yeah, I know, but my odds are pretty good with, the gold medal goalie here.
Mm-hmm.
And he's having, I think, a Hall of Fame career. And he might not be, cross your fingers if they were to do it, too old. Here's Mike with us. Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, but until this playoffs, or until the Olympics, Connor Hellebuck was thought of as a great regular season goalie, but he had gagged 3 years in a row, my recollection, in the playoffs. And it was big time in Winnipeg that they were calling him choking buck and all this kind of stuff because he had terrible playoff series. And, Bobrovsky has a bad year last year. Hellenbuck, but for the Olympics this year, has never really performed well when it counted. I'm really leery about picking up either of those guys. I think we're fine with the goaltenders that we have. I think, we can use that money and really, like Bulldog, I think really wants to do is supplement our top 6 or our top 9, or if we lose Byram, pick up a really good number 4 defenseman with that money. I just think it's better off spent that way.
Okay.
You are right about the last 3 years. It's not a ton of – in part because he was so bad. 5 games in 22-23, save percentage 886. I don't have the advanced stats here to give you any of the above expected stuff, but the hockey card stats, the goals against in the playoffs in 23, 3.44, save percentage 886. Following year, 5 games, 5.23 goals against, 870 save percentage, 24-25 when they had like the best regular season maybe they've ever had. 3.08, 866 save percentage. That's 13 games. They did win a round that year. Prior to that, he had great playoffs. Again, it wasn't long runs, but his numbers were good. 931 one year, 922 another year. That was 17 games. That's almost 10 years ago now. That's 17, 18. So
3 rounds.
But the most recent playoff examples are down. There's no question. That's why him performing like he did in the Olympics was so important, I think, for his stature within the sport, because it's the first time he'd really demonstrated a big spot like he was, and he was the difference in the game. I think everyone mostly agrees.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty nice feather in his cap, and doesn't wash away 3 down years in a row in the playoffs, but could also get you to sort of overlook it, I think.
If you look at those statistics on hockeyreference.com, there's a stat called BS, bad starts.
Okay.
There's a stat called bad starts.
I like that.
And in the last playoff appearance of his that season, so this is 2025, he had 6 bad starts, which is under 85% for a game.
Yeah.
You get tagged with a bad start. I don't know. I'm choosing to be flexible on the idea of the big goalie, all caps, in general here. It's got to be the right guy, and that's, different for me. But I'm choosing not to be that flexible on whether I'm going to think about the playoffs as that different than the regular season based on, his pretty small sample size in recent years. I'll take this profile. I'll take my chances with this profile. Playoff series, I know this is how it always is, much more of a spotlight, much more important to your legacy and all of that. But it's not a huge deal for me. The guy's had a great career.
Mm-hmm.
Last time they were in the playoffs, 2025, so last year, right? They beat St. Louis in 7 games, overtime, maybe double overtime in Game 7, Winnipeg, and then lost to Dallas in 6, losing Game 6 in overtime 2-1.
And Dallas is a super strong team. There's no Yeah,
and he had two shutouts in that series.
Everything I was saying about that division this year with Minnesota and Dallas chasing Colorado, just substitute Winnipeg for Minnesota last year. And it was the same thing. I mean, it was a death trip to try to get out of that division. So
well,
there is that.
I think it's really interesting to think about whether the Sabres' reputation to the fans, at least, I mean, we're the fans, can't speak for the players, if it's changed. If it's something now where, while they probably can never be what Florida is in terms of a destination, a topic we've gone around and around on, are they a team that we think needs to make this kind of a statement, to the league or to even their own players and to us? Because I don't know. We've argued about this some when it comes to Tuck himself, that, well, just to replace him with 20-year-olds doesn't really look great. And I think, I get it, but look who the 20-year-olds are and look what they've done already on the big stage. Like, I'm not totally guessing here on them like I would be.
It could work. I mean, anything could work, but that's not. Maybe it's not as reachy as other times they've counted on the kids. But we're talking about a handful of games. If you're thinking about the playoffs, I mean, Austin played 2 playoff games because he was hurt, and then he got hurt again. And Helenny's played 4? It's just not a lot of. It's not enough for me to just go, oh, absolutely, they can replace Alex Tuck. I mean, I don't know. Doan can maybe do some of the things Tuck was doing, the penalty killing stuff and like that. Maybe there's a different role for him. Anyway, I highly doubt. The reason I'm open to the goalie thing is, to me, it could end up that everything else can't be done. And I think they would want, and maybe will fall in the same category. I mean, they're not going to be the only team if Hellebuck is indeed being shopped. They are not going to be the only team looking for him. So they're going to have to win that. He has a 10-team approved trade list. So he can tell the Winnipeg Jets 10 teams that he's willing to be traded to.
Do you think the reports, including the Sabres, about him already is an indication that he would accept a trade to the Sabres? Or do we have Parayko again?
I know. That's why I was just going to say, I don't want to say. I mean, I could assume, but I might have assumed with the way the Sabres season was going that a guy like Parayko would go, yeah, absolutely. Like, when that trade was announced and we talked about it, like it was going to happen, I wasn't thinking he was going to turn them down. But he did, so I don't know. I'd be guessing about Hellebuck.
Because why would it get out before he was asked about it?
Right.
And then we found out that it did, which is really an interesting thing. Who wanted it out? And everybody denied that it was them. But somebody did. Somebody broke that story. Looking up Winnipeg history is not as easy as it might be for other teams because it's all broken up.
It's split, right.
Ian Hartitz had a tweet today about the Ravens just basically taking the Cleveland Browns, but not their history, because then the Browns returned and the Browns got their history back. And has that ever happened before? Winnipeg, the current Winnipeg is Atlanta.
Right.
So all the Atlanta Thrashers are on the Winnipeg encyclopedia page. Utah is just Utah. And Arizona, which does not currently exist, is old Winnipeg. Wow. That's on hold, like the Browns. That's on hold for Arizona to come back and then get all their stuff back and have Utah go its own way. So Utah and Arizona are not together.
So Arizona's not apparently going to be invited back in this round of expansion that was being reported about today that involves Houston or Austin, Texas.
Bulldog, they're always welcome. Arizona is welcome back anytime.
Hurry up and get Arizona back in the league. Mostly because we just need to know where all the old Winnipeg guys are.
Yes. Yeah, you gotta dig a little bit. We got to get another college arena.
I want
back
Phil
in the league.
Housley's Winnipeg stats. I got to go to the ArizonaCoyotes.org.
You got to go to Phil Housley's page. That's easier.
Yeah,
but
probably,
yes, Dale Howarchuk belongs to the Coyotes, not the Jets. Officially,
nice league.
The Jets are only these Jets and the Thrashers.
If Quebec ever got a team, would they get their gear back from Colorado, or does Colorado get to keep that stuff? The old, the jerseys that they're wearing, they've been wearing, a couple times a year, the old Quebec jerseys. I would think that it would have to go back home then.
I don't know.
Because if Quebec came back, it would be, I think I'm going to go with an atrocity if they wore anything but those uniforms and were called anything but the Nordique.
Yeah, they're not going to be, though. You'll be upset.
They're probably never going to get a team, so I don't have to really worry about it. I'm just preemptively being aggravated about something that's never going to happen.
They're going to be the Quebec Guardians.
Oh, boy.
When they come into the league, and it'll be all different. All new arena, I hope you would think. New colors. Maybe a patch.
No.
Maybe
great.
a patch.
Yeah.
That's it, though.
Thanks
Or the
for
igloo.
that.
Maybe an igloo patch. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. Do you want to see the Sabres go after Connor Hellebuck? I'd say like a big goalie, but even Bobrovsky to me is not the same. And this would be a trade. It's not just Bobrovsky would just be a signing.
Right.
Back after the update, this is WGR.
Busy day in the NHL. We'll start with the Sabres news. Darren Dreger reporting that it appears while there was ongoing extension discussions, all signs are pointing to Sabres forward Alex Tuch testing free agency when that opens up in early July. There have also been plenty of trades today. The latest one, Washington appears to be acquiring forward Jordan Kyrou from St. Louis. It does appear the 16th overall pick and more are going back in return. That one is just reported as of now. The ones that are official, Calgary acquiring defenseman Simon Nemec from New Jersey for 2 first-round picks, 2027 and 28, both of which are top 10 protected, a second in this year's draft, and a prospect. Nemec, though, is an RFA this summer, and as of now, the Flames do not have an extension in place. And then Ottawa is acquiring forward William Eklund from San Jose and 2 prospects in exchange for the 9th overall pick. We also have some expansion news. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman said with the media that the Board of NHL Governors have agreed to a $3.5 billion expansion fee if they go ahead with the expansion to Houston or Austin. That is being headed by the Friedrich family. Bettman did also say the process could take 6 months to decide if it's a go or not. And then in the World Cup, currently scoreless, Ghana and England. We're getting close to the 70th minute in this one. Portugal earlier today beat Uzbekistan 5-0. And then we've got 2 more games later tonight. 7 p.m. sees Panama versus Croatia, and at 10, Colombia versus DR Congo. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Leon, Connor, Zach Hyman, and the rest of this leadership group want to get better. And that's what they've asked of me. And they've told me, we have to be better, and we expect you to make us better. And I said, well, that's great to talk about in June. When camp starts and you're making a guy do things, you might not be so happy. And they said, no, that's not how it's going to be. We're all committed all in on winning. Obviously, in that time period, we had gone through enough things and talked about enough things that they felt comfortable with the process, or I wouldn't be here. And I was very clear to them, unless you're 100% all in on Mike Babcock, I have no interest in being the coach.
There's no way that wasn't a guy that was going to use his own name in the third person usage there. Not surprising.
Insufferable. The Edmonton Oilers have got 2 of the best 4 players in the world on their team, and they're being run by a guy who presided over an organization that covered up sexual abuse of one of their players because they were on a Stanley Cup run. And that guy.
Bowman.
Stan Bowman, right. Former Chicago Blackhawk GM. It's noxious is what it is. It's just gross. Babcock, that's not even using his, referring to himself like that in the third person is obnoxious in and of itself. Earlier or at some other point in this appearance with the media today, I mean, he all but said, Columbus was no big deal. Whatever happened there. And that was, what was that, pictures on the phones? Is that the story there in Columbus, right? He asked guys wanted to see their phones. So he's like, I want to know tell me who you are. Let me see your phones. I want to look at your photo galleries. That's normal behavior, right? By a grown man to other grown men that you're going to be, in charge of, put your trust in. Can't find any other qualified people, I guess. Got to have Stan Bowman and Mike Babcock in the league. Joel Quenneville, for what it's worth, too, while I'm on a roll over here, Anaheim. I know. People deserve to live their lives and not pay forever for things that they did that were wrong. But when things you did that were wrong eventually result in teenagers being raped in high school by the same coach you didn't want to blow the whistle on when you were trying to win the Stanley Cup, I think maybe you shouldn't get to have jobs in the league anymore. That's just me. Find someone else. Go have a different life and a different job and a different career. But your chosen vocation, you broke the rules grievously. Get out of my league. But, hockey can't see their way clear to do that, I guess. So here we are. All right, I'll stop. change the subject. I don't want to dwell on this. I'll just keep going.
If you looked at my phone and tried to make a judgment on me, you would see a lot of sunsets. You would see a lot of draft boards.
Right.
That I save for posterity, and you would see a lot of recipes.
Right.
Because I'll look at my computer to pick a recipe and then screen grab,
it, right?
Then use that picture at the grocery store. When I run into somebody that asks me about my kids, oh, they've got to be so big. I go, yeah.
It's just scrolling.
Wait a minute. Don't leave. Hang on a minute.
You need a different folder so you can quickly go to, like, oh, here they are. Yeah, I know what you mean. I got a fair amount of, I'm sure not as many as you, but I occasionally will come across a recipe and think, I might want to make that, and just throw it in there. I do the same thing. There's enough, I go searching for how to play certain songs on the guitar often enough that, my Facebook logarithm, like, presents me with that. And, it's anything from a Chris Christopherson song to a, I don't know, something more contemporary. And I'll always, you never know. I might want to learn how to play. Screen grab that. I got it. I mean, I could easily just Google it if I wanted it, but I like to have it in there. And then I go in there like, oh, all right, I guess I wanted to learn how to play Harvest Moon by Neil Young. All right, I can do that right now. Here it is. A, D. All right, great. That's mostly what I have in my phone, besides the buried pictures of my family.
My last picture is of the 1971 Topps Bob Gibson card. That was today because I drafted a team and named it Bob Gibson, and I wanted a picture for my team of him. My second to last picture is our golf pick 10 bet history. My third to last picture is I just downloaded it. My friend from college, Jason, we both had a Charles Grodin thing when we were roommates, and he made a logo of Charles Grodin's face for one of my teams. Oh, I got a lot of pictures of a dog, my Margot.
Right.
You definitely take me as a dog lover.
Yeah.
Or at least one dog. I might be the only one.
Most recent photo in my phone from 2:48 p.m. This was heavy duty show research
today.
Yeah, Rolling Stone list of the 100 greatest guitar solos of all time.
Okay,
like that's something I'm going to want to look at.
But you're not going to look at it on your phone, are you?
I probably will. I'll look at it on my iPad. Like my phone is linked to my iPad, and so when later tonight, I'm hoping that I'll remember that I have that. At some point, I will, and I'll go. Well, I just want to see what this list is.
All right.
See how many of these I feel strongly about or not. Whatever. So I grabbed it. So I don't feel like on Twitter anymore you can just like stuff and then find it. Like I've had trouble recently finding the things that I've like used to be my mechanism all day long for, all right, I'll read that tonight while I'm watching baseball, or in the case of right now, soccer, right? I go in and I'll do this every night after a show. I go into Twitter and like, oh, let me see what I saved today that I wanted to read that I didn't feel like I had time to while we were doing the show, and I can't find the likes anymore. They're like,
I've never done that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I used it like a library, basically.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to want us to do that anymore, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure there's some engagement farming reason for that.
Yeah, you would think.
Right.
For everything.
Right.
Jordan Kyrou to Washington. Well, let's take a minute on that. Look at the action today.
Yep. Definitely was a space. I had room to consider Jordan Kyrou.
Sure.
As an idea. I mean, absolutely. I think I said just within the hour, it seems like his name is way more prominent in the trade, the trade machine than Robert Thomas's is. So, that doesn't have to mean he'll be moved for sure. But sure enough, we didn't even get through the day, and he's on his way to Washington. I haven't seen return on that yet. But the Blues have divested themselves of him. And I don't know. Like, on one hand, that might be, as Zach tweeted, they're open for business. Like, okay, that might be right. Maybe they're going to clear the decks. Or they were going to trade one youngish, valued veteran guy off their team that's already got a contract, and that's it. Like, so maybe this is a sign that Robert Thomas isn't moving. I mean, it could be that they are going to just gut it, but I don't think that's really necessary. So
it just feels a little bit like these teams are moving money. I mean, Kyrou is 28 and signed for a few years too.
Mm-hmm.
They got an RFA named Connor McMichael. They got the 16th pick in the draft Friday night and a 25 second-round pick player, Milton Gastrin. That's what Washington had to give up. So unless St. Louis is just – there have been a few of these weirdly done with the player.
Yeah.
For all the times – for all the energy put into Jordan Kyrou in the last year or two for trade speculation, it's a first-round pick, an RFA, and a guy that was picked in the second last year. Maybe that's a lot. It's just these trades don't tend to look to me like good rebuild kind of trades.
Mm-hmm.
San Jose's guy, and
Eklund,
they threw in 2 prospects as well, and they got, the number 9 pick.
Right.
I mean, that's a team that's very young already.
That's right. I wonder if that's a sign that they're going to take. They have the second pick. I think we talked about this off the air. The thinking right away, they got the second pick, like, okay, well, is that too high to draft the defenseman? Because that's really what they need. They need one of those guys. They need some version of Lane Hudson. And so there's a kid from Sault Ste. Marie that's, up in that range in the draft. But Stenberg is the second best player in the draft, the Swedish forward. And maybe they bail on Eklund and they're going to replace him with Stenberg, like plug and play. That could be that. And now they've got other picks that they can maybe get their defenseman a little bit later if they want or something. I don't know. So it's hard to really pin down. But, yeah, Connor McMichael is not like any – like it's a middle of the lineup guy maybe at best. So I don't know – I'm not sure what St. Louis is doing. Kyrou did have a very bad year this year. He was even benched at one point, healthy scratch. Only one time, I think, but it happened, which was a big deal because he is, highly paid, and he's been a 30-goal scorer, I think, not every year, but the last, 3 years of his career prior to this one, and the bottom sort of fell out on him. So you're buying low, I would think, to some extent.
Hellebuck is a little bit this, but for the Olympics.
Right.
And on a grander scale, as he's been the best goalie in the league, arguably, for the better part of the last 8 years. Just to bring that name back up, I don't know.
Right.
We don't all have to agree, but I would be think of this isn't why you make deals, right? Or at least it's not most of it. Think of the juice you would get out of that around here if they did that. If they swung for Connor Hellebuck this week. Wow. Whether it works or not, we'd all wait to find out.
The news conference is an easy win. I mean, should be an easy win.
Look at Buffalo.
Right.
It's worth something. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. This is WGR. Bottle bundle deals. England, Ghana at Boston Stadium, where the New England football team plays. Don't want to get in any trouble here. Is scoreless down to the 87th minute. During our commercial break, it's on in here, and an absolute flurry of chances for England. Ghana has one shot attempt in this game and no shots on goal to England's maybe 20 shot attempts or so at this point. And you've got the big man, Harry Kane, gets a rebound off the crossbar right in front, and the goalie is out of play, and he
mile
over the net.
It's not even close.
What a miss.
Yeah.
No score. The Bisons are in Iowa.
I've been to Iowa.
Yes, so have I. One of my favorite weddings I've ever been to was in Iowa. Our boss's wife is from the same town.
All right.
And you've been there for hockey.
I was there, yeah. I stayed, well, I was there, Owen was in Des Moines for a month, and I was there for like a long weekend. I had, the trip I remember most for Iowa is the trip we took to South Dakota when he was trying to make it in the USHL. He got drafted by Sioux Falls,
okay,
I think it was.
Yep.
I am sort of happy that I can't exactly remember. I like, honestly, usually I get mad that I forget stuff, but like, I don't really need to know this information anymore. It's never going to be pertinent again in my life. So like, anyway, I'm enjoying a moment of like, I don't have all that locked down anymore, which is good. I'm letting it go, which I should.
I think Sioux Falls is South Dakota. Sioux City is Iowa.
Right. Okay. So it was Sioux Falls. Anyway, on the way there, we stopped. Like the halfway point was Quad Cities.
Yeah.
Like Illinois, Iowa border area there. Davenport. I can't remember the name of the cities, the two cities that were in Illinois. But anyway, we stayed overnight right on the river, the Mississippi River. And I got up, it was like a Thursday night maybe, or a Wednesday night. We got there, stayed. I got up at 5 a.m, sunrise, bike ride. There was great trails all along the river. I mean, it was one of my favorite bike rides I've ever had. That's what I think of Iowa.
You're glad, I hope, that you remembered the name of the Mississippi River.
Yes.
At least.
Yes.
You don't need to lose that.
No.
The Bisons play the egregious start time of 7:38 in Iowa. But it's the first game of the second half. You know how they do it in that league now?
Oh, right.
So they're standing back to 0-0.
Start over? Okay, well.
The first half, the Bisons finished 35-40. It wasn't good enough.
Yeah, that's not a playoff spot.
No, 0-0. I was texting with Sam Panayotovich last night about the White Sox, which I do quite often, because I told you earlier I had a bet that didn't go through.
Oh, right.
On the White Sox.
Right.
And then I'm watching it kind of hoping they lose so that I would have lost the bet. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Back and forth, late innings, it was great. And I said, he's a White Sox fan going way back. Is this Cleveland versus Chicago, is that the best rivalry in the AL Central? I feel like it is. And he said, quote, they hate each other. The Guardians and the White Sox.
That sounds like that's a good rivalry then.
Then I started to think about what is the best division rivalry in every division. Not just baseball even.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You want to play with that?
Yeah.
It's the best rivalry in every, NFL division.
I got to get a lot of standings open to make that happen.
You're going to need some tabs.
Yeah, I'm going to need some tabs. I wish my bet on Uzbekistan on the money line hadn't gone through this morning.
I bet. No pun intended.
5-0.
803-0550 for your calls. We'll have the latest on this game here as well when we return. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Well, Darren Drager reporting that it appears while there was ongoing extension discussions, all signs are pointing to Sabres forward Alex Tuch testing free agency. Also going on today, plenty of trades, all of which now have been confirmed. The latest one is Washington acquiring forward Jordan Kyrou from St. Louis for the 16th overall pick, RFA forward Connor McMichael, and 2025 second-round center Milton Gastrin. We also had the Flames go out and acquire defenseman Simon Nemec from Jersey for 2 first-round picks, 27 and 28, both of which, though, are top 10 protected, a second in this year's draft and a prospect, though Nemec is an RFA this summer, and as of now, the Flames do not have an extension in place. And then Ottawa, they are acquiring forward William Eklund from San Jose and 2 prospects in exchange for the 9th overall pick in this year's draft. We also have some expansion news. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman said with the media that the Board of NHL Governors have agreed to a $3.5 billion expansion fee, and if they go ahead with the expansion to Houston or Austin, that is going to be headed by the Friedrich family. Bettman said, though, the process could take up to 6 months to decide if it is a go or not. And then in the World Cup, more history. Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice today, meaning he's the first ever player to have scored in 6 World Cups. He is also now Portugal's all-time leading goal scorer at the World Cup with 10 career goals. Portugal went on to beat Uzbekistan earlier this morning 5-0. England and Ghana just wrapped up. That game ended 0-0. 7 p.m. we'll have Panama versus Croatia, and then at 10, Colombia versus DR Congo. And then the Bisons, they are in Iowa versus the Cubs at 7:38. That game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They have this Panther sound effect that is just the cheesiest, stupidest sounding thing. Big voice guy going, Panther goal scored by Sam Reinhart.
Where'd you get that thing? I trapped it. Been keeping it in my bathroom at the motel, feeding it old pizza.
It's Mike Schopp.
If you're calm, that wondrous big cat will be calm too. But if you're scared, that beautiful death machine will do what God made it to do. Namely, eat you with a smile on its face.
And the Bulldog. On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Can you spell the name of the U.S. men's soccer coach? I just got it wrong.
P-O-C-H-E-T-T-I-N-O?
Correct. Well done.
Woo! I was looking at it. No, I really wasn't. All right, good.
I got it wrong. I went 2 C's, 1 T. Pochettino.
Yep.
I'm playing these puzzle games like the map one. Geo Sports, is it? Yesterday. And, man, I was a good bounce back day for me, by the way, in this. But
oh, good for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yesterday's going along fine. Not playing against anybody. I'm on my phone, so I can't be too precise. They give you 5 geography questions, but they're through sports. Like today the first question was, where did they used to hold the NFL draft every year?
Okay.
And the answer is Radio City Music Hall.
Right.
And I clicked it within like 5 miles or something. I was happy with that. Going through yesterday, 4 good results. And the last question is, Pochettino is from here. And I went over to Europe and just, I didn't know, I don't know cities.
Yeah.
But I went to Italy and I sort of just middled it. Literally. I picked the middle.
Yeah.
Of Italy. Wrong. Do you know?
I can't say I do, no.
Argentina.
Okay, wow.
So this game is like, where did Reggie Jackson play in the early 70s? Ding. And, you know, it gets all excited if you're really, I was like 1 mile off from the stadium on that one. The full 100 points, the gamut.
Right.
Bells and whistles. 4 good guesses. And then, I don't know, somewhere in Italy, the yellow line, the dreaded yellow line.
Yeah, wow.
Just zooms halfway across the world. So close.
Yeah.
Well, not
Right.
not in that
Right.
particular case.
No, really.
So close to a good round.
Grievously far off, actually, as it turns out.
Pochettino played for the Argentina national team.
All right, I did not know. I did not know where. I would have guessed he was European. I don't know that I probably would have guessed Italy, but I don't know. Do you know? I knew this 10 years ago, probably, and then when the World Cup started again, it sort of blew my mind all over again. Just sort of the same thing. Pochettino sounds like an Italian name, so I'm going to guess he's from Italy. Do you know where Ibrahimovic is from?
Sweden.
Yeah, right. I just never think that does not. I think of Swedish names. I do not think of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but he's a legend in Swedish soccer, and he's from Sweden.
I remember watching him in World Cup.
I don't.
Well, where is Matthias Samuelsson from?
Philadelphia.
Right. There's a lot of these in hockey now.
Yeah.
Because it's international game. Dad played somewhere.
Yep.
Somebody I was talking with somebody about another example of that, but I forget right now. All right.
I'm
by the way, 0-0.
Scoreless draw
Final.
with England. Yeah. Right.
You were going to say?
I did some work. I'm ready to
prepping for the rivalry game.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. What sport are we doing?
You brought up baseball. If you want to do baseball first.
All right. Do you have answers in mind already?
Yeah. I looked. I'm not dug in hard on all of them because some of them are. A couple of the divisions are kind of I don't know. What's the best I can do here?
Right.
A little bit, I would say. But I think AL East is easy.
Tampa.
Boston, New York is one of the best rivalries in all of sports, let alone baseball.
That's got to be the winner.
And let alone that division. I'll take Sam's word for Chicago and Cleveland.
I don't think there's a close second, really.
Yeah.
I don't think Detroit and Cleveland is Chicago and Cleveland. I'm not a fan of either team. But
right.
I think that's how the conversation began.
And I don't know enough about the history of Minnesota versus Kansas City, for example, to know if that's anything.
They've never even played.
Okay. The NL West is one of these that I'm going to settle on. I think Texas and Houston because they're in the same state. But I don't know. Seattle, the Athletics don't even have a city name anymore in the standings, and the LA Angels. I don't know what to really do with any of that. I don't feel like there's. Nothing comes to my mind. There might be reason to stump for any one of those, but or any pair of them. But
that's probably a division where it shifts based on who's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Seattle-Oakland would have been a good rivalry once.
Yeah.
But Seattle was
with
not often consistently
McGuire,
good.
Kosenko, and Seattle with with Griffey, and that might attract.
But now I would say, Houston is kind of a villain still. They're not good anymore. Houston. Seattle would be the present-day answer, I think. But, that's not the point.
It's a harder one, yeah.
Texas.
NL East, I would say Braves-Mets. Or Phillies-Mets.
I like Braves-Mets.
But it's one of those two. I mean, I think Philly and the Mets are proximity, rivalry cities, But I feel like Braves-Mets is a better baseball rivalry than Phillies-Mets is.
I agree.
So that's that. Cubs-Cardinals is a no-brainer, I think, in the NL Central.
Yeah.
And then Dodgers and Giants.
Yeah. This wasn't that hard.
In the NL West, yeah. I think the other sports, gets a little, I don't know, you want to do hockey, you want to do football, you pick. I don't feel like I am up enough on the NBA to really go hard at their divisions.
I would say, I'm definitely not either. I would say the best rivalry in the Atlantic Division is Montreal-Boston.
Yeah, me too.
Not Toronto. You wouldn't say Toronto either?
I wouldn't, no. I think the history just isn't there. I mean, it's there at the beginning, but once Toronto's not in the same conference for such a long time, I feel like Boston-Montreal outranks it myself.
Yep.
So that's that one.
Although that, I think I'm going to get this wrong. I shouldn't even bother. In the 70s, late 70s, the Adams division is Buffalo, Boston, Toronto, Minnesota.
Wow, that's right.
And Montreal was in a different division with Los Angeles. somehow.
What in the world was hockey doing?
Somehow.
What is hockey doing now?
I don't know how that happened, but they were in. Maybe there was the same conference, but I think the Adams division was Boston, Buffalo, Toronto, Minnesota. And then when did Toronto skip to the Campbell Conference?
I don't remember.
Early 80s. Maybe when they brought in the 4 WHA teams.
That would make sense as a reconfiguration time. Yeah.
Because that's when we got Hartford.
Okay.
Toronto left for Hartford. And Quebec. We got Hartford and Quebec in that deal.
How nice for us.
2 expansion teams. Well, they were expansion teams, but they were formed teams.
Right.
From the other league.
Right. The Metro, I think Devils Rangers is probably right in the Metro, but I would want to honorable mention Penguins Flyers.
Okay.
I think that's pretty tasty.
Not Rangers Islanders versus the Devils?
Yeah, Rangers Islanders is probably better than the Devils, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one game where although the Rangers fans will chant Potvin sucks no matter who's playing. But when the Islanders are there and they chant Potvin sucks, like that's still, I mean,
timeless.
I really respect that. I mean, that is going hard and never forgetting.
You know, by the way, and back to the Atlantic Division, Tampa and Florida
is really good now.
Is really good.
Yes.
But in terms of like the geography, it's just kind of one team. It's, you know,
I'm glad you mentioned them because when I looked at the division, I thought Montreal, Boston, and I thought Tampa, Florida, and then we sort of blew past it. But that's current day. That is a fantastic rivalry.
Yeah, but you go down there, you play them both when you go down there. It's
right. It's one trip.
Not the history of the others.
But those two teams have been clobbering one another for a few years now. I mean, they've both been pretty much powerhouses the whole time. Western Conference Central Division. I got to say Blues Blackhawks. That's old Norris Division, you know, Basil McRae and Dirk Graham is the guy I wanted there. Right, captain of Chicago.
Avs would be Dallas. Avs Dallas.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I agree. I would say Chicago, St. Louis, just like in baseball.
And Pacific is Calgary, Edmonton. I mean, I no disrespect to anybody else out there, but like Anaheim, LA does not hold a candle to the Battle of Alberta.
Right.
So
it's not Vancouver.
No.
And it's not, Utah is in the other division, so it's not going to be Utah.
Yeah. Seattle is in there.
Seattle, it's not
that might be the easiest answer of the 4 divisions to me is that Edmonton, Calgary is just, that is a blood feud.
All right. AFC East. Dolphins, Jets. Is that sacrilegious?
Maybe.
Dolphins, Jets?
I don't think you could say Bills Patriots. It's just starting.
No, I wouldn't.
Like it's right now. It's they're the 2 best teams in the division. It's either Dolphins Jets or Bills Dolphins, and I mean the Bills Dolphins feel like that run in the '90s. I think it outranks Jets Dolphins. Like
okay.
How many times did they battle all season for the division title and then play in the playoffs?
It's been decades since they've played a game where they were both good.
Right.
The Dolphins and the Jets. I like New England, Miami, too. It's good history.
Yep.
AFC Championship game once between New England and Miami. Or was it it was the AFC Championship to go to Super Bowl 17.
All right.
New England crushed them in the Orange Bowl. AFC North, Pitt, Baltimore.
Pitt, Cincinnati is really good too. Like those are right. They're, like when Antonio Brown was there, like those were violent, mean games. But I think Baltimore, Pittsburgh is.
Cleveland, Pittsburgh is good. It's really one-sided.
Yep.
Cleveland, Cincinnati is good.
Cleveland, Cincinnati, Sam Weish. Get on the microphone. Stop throwing snowball or whatever. Stop throwing. What are you from Cleveland?
We're in Cincinnati, not in Cleveland. I don't think they were even playing Cleveland.
Right. I think it was
playing Houston.
It was just to cut it out. Yep.
You got the shot in.
Yep.
When was is that the last time an NFL coach had a microphone?
Right.
Had access to the PA system. How did he even get that?
I don't know.
How did he even get a mic that would work in Riverfront Stadium to address the crowd.
Right.
Who arranged that?
I'm thinking of this story Sal tells about, I don't remember what the situation was, but the official wanting his mic because he wanted to make an announcement. And Sal being like, I'm on the radio. I'm not, you can't, this
is not the PA.
This is not the stadium in-house.
That's a terrible job by that official.
Yes, it is.
How does he not know the difference?
Right.
Sal's not broadcasting to the fans.
And what public address announcer is standing on the sidelines?
Right. How do you not know that?
Right.
Not even in high school games are they standing on the sidelines.
Yeah, you were in the press. You were in the up atop the bleachers somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell to do with the AFC South.
No one ever does.
Right.
Tennessee, Houston.
Okay, sure. Yeah, because they did leave, and now they're wearing the Houston colors, so that probably works. Chiefs, Raiders?
I think so.
But in the AFC West?
Chargers, Raiders is tempting, but I don't think it's better. Chiefs, Raiders. It's all Chiefs, Raiders, all the boxes.
Right. The uniforms. Yeah, that's it, really.
It's the best uniform matchup in sports.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Raiders. No matter, even which team is wearing which colors, it's still great. Dallas, Philadelphia.
Right. I mean, Dallas, Washington was really good when we were younger, but I feel like Dallas, Philly is sort of it's taking the spot.
Chicago, Green Bay.
Yes, 100%.
Saints, Falcons.
Yeah. Jerry Glanville coached both teams. Did he coach the Saints? No. Did he?
No.
He coached Atlanta.
He coached Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay.
And Houston.
Right. Okay.
Steve Tasker.
I think that has to be it. It's not any one of the other combinations, I don't think.
Then easily Rams, Niners.
Yeah.
Best rivalry in each division.
What about the Cardinals, though?
No. There are certain teams where I'm not sure I know who their number one rival is, and I think Arizona would be one of them.
Yeah.
A lot of their fans might be like, I think they would probably say Dallas would be
from when they were in the division.
Rival.
Yeah. That might be right.
You gotta get somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what do you do? Yeah, it is probably Dallas.
All right. Sal Capaccio got to see the stadium as some of the media took a tour. Sal even got the extra tour. And when he asks me in this conversation you're about to hear how far my house is from Canada, it's about 2,000 feet. I measured it on a map. So that's the answer to the question that here in this next conversation will go unanswered. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, our chat with Sal after this. This is WGR.